Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Sailing. I am a beast, my sister 4 emperors Linlin. Chapter 41. 200 million volts. The beginning of Zeus, but the end of Enel. Boom. Dazzling light up. Even if people at close range cover their eyes with their hands, they still feel the burning pain in their eyes. The body too. It is crispy, numb and hot, as if you were in a big stove. People from afar. On the other hand, he saw a super flash of light flashing across the air, and then disappeared in the blink of an eye. Boss, why did you take the boat away suddenly and stop hunting the 2 brothers and sisters Charlotte? 3,000 meters outside the outer island of Sabayati. The Akoku pirate ship slammed down, splashing a large amount of seawater. The crew stationed on the deck, as well as individual cadres, are all at a loss. I don't understand why my boss is in such a hurry all of a sudden. Intel. Akoku was so embarrassed that he stopped talking. Try to find. What else are you looking for? Charlotte Asa, you lied to everyone, that guy. Akoku was about to swear when his pupils shrank suddenly, and he turned his head away. As expected, the sky was instantly filled with blue light, and then shone on the entire ship, as if to help them bathe. The bath of death. Lightning. Single quote. Charlotte Linlin. Single quote. Or Charlotte Asa. Single quote. The location is still so precise, it was predicted in advance, will I land here? Since Akoku went to sea, it was the first time he met such a 16-year-old kid. Push him to this extent. Come to the sword. With a growl, Akoku grasped the long knife and clasped his hands together. Slash forward hard for a slash wave. However, just chopped off. Leg Wong filled the ship. Submerging everything on the hull, a thunderstorm area formed within a range of several hundred meters. Under Hockey's boost, crazy interweaving rages. Ziz. Boom. Hundreds of crew members on the deck gradually died out in silent wailing and convulsions. Even the surrounding seawater evaporated a lot due to the huge temperature. As for the hull, naturally, it also disintegrated under the high temperature. Ah, lousy as a net Poseidon. It's not that easy to die. At the last moment, Akoku stimulated his potential and used all his Hockey to resist for a moment. It was also at this moment that he bought time. Let him successfully push the fruit ability to the limit. Call out. He disappeared again. When falling. This time it was 30,000 meters away, just in case, he teleported obliquely. Unsurprisingly, he was right. The thunder light passed through the back of the ship, and then penetrated forward unabated, although it consumed a lot of lightning. But the power is still not bad. If Akoku is going backwards, it is estimated that he will be hit again. My ship. There are also cadres. Akoku, who was seriously injured, grinned his teeth in the future, a shiver suddenly appeared on his body, and he flashed again. Number in a row. With massive physical decline. It was only then that they crossed a sea area, saw a nearby safe island, and fell back. Boom. With a body of more than 3 meters, he fell into the small town and attracted a large number of people to watch. The condition is very bad. But relying on the ultimate life-saving means, he survived. The mind is complex. Asa, is he a mage? So her sister is good at hand-to-hand combat, and he is good at long distance. Control mine. And that incomprehensible intensive slash. Akoku's mind is in a mess, he's pretty much out of everything now. The boat is gone. The real core crew lost their lives. The rest are crooked melons and cracked dates. If you meet the Charlotte brothers and sisters again, can you escape once or twice, or escape for a lifetime? What to do? Suddenly, he thought of something, his fierce eyes moved slightly, and he directly grabbed the townspeople nearby, scaring the surrounding people half to death. Phone bug. Bring a universal phone bug. Soon. Relying on his memory, he dialed the one he was least willing to dial, and also the guy he was most afraid of. Blue, blue, blue. The phone bug connected quickly, and a smoky voice rang over there, Akoku. How do you know? Akoku's bloodshot eyes widened in disbelief. Obviously, this phone bug belongs to someone else. But he can be precise and unmistakable, knowing that it is himself. Because you are too weak. The voice over there was a bit noisy, as if another big banquet was going on, bahahahahaha. Okay, just kidding. Lousy knows you want to join. Then come on. Lousy has never been stingy with talents and strong players. Before Akoku could heave a sigh of relief, the following sentence brought him back to his senses. See you in Hachinosu 3 months later. When the time comes, Laozi will announce a big event. Akoku's eyelids twitched. 3 months later. In other words, he still has to hide and hide for 3 months. And when the time comes, who knows what will happen on Hachinosu? Charlotte Asa, will you go again? No, you can't sit still. In addition to this way, Akoku thought of another way, but on this side, he still replied, I see, rocks. New world, the strongest. Bahahahaha, very good. Laozi has a big surprise here. Rocks, voice has a hint of magic, which makes people feel a sense of surrender just listening to it. Looking forward to your arrival, and the pair of brothers and sisters who easily defeated you. Only you are getting stronger and stronger. The prosperous age of pirates that Laozi wants to see. Only then can we get closer and closer. You won't be bored. Bahahahahaha, comma, could it be? Is it the law that lightning can't kill people? No, it's his hockey attainment, which removes lightning strikes as much as possible, plus the ability to teleport. Otherwise, just wait a few more seconds for Fan. That's it. At the height of the Sabayati archipelago, Zeus fell down limply. Ace's thoughts moved slightly, analyzing the reason why Akoku was not killed. This is not a fun manga, but a real world of adventure and passion. Say something ridiculous. Thunder. Except for some special cases, it can kill people by electrocution, and its destructive power is hard to beat. Never mind. We'll meet again. Asa didn't bother too much. The current Akoku is hard resistant to several damages, even if he does not have admiral level combat power, his strength is not bad. It fully shows the vitality of the pervert in the pirate world. Like the future, Blackbeard is known as the Four Emperors. After possessing the double fruit ability, he still had to cooperate with Kebi to defeat Akoku. It is enough to see that the strength is not weak. Also, Asa also analyzed her own abilities. Looks strong. In fact, Fumo Yukuk is not omnipotent if someone resists the slash. Before dying, after breaking through to his side, the disadvantage came. Asa had to give up the continuous activation of her ability to concentrate on dealing with the person in front of her. But this kind of person have not encountered so far. Can Admiral do it? Asa doesn't know. From beginning to end, he has never met an upright admiral who is at his peak. Not to mention, this old-time admiral. It is stronger than the 3 admirals of later generations, at least in terms of physical skills. But, even if you can get close, it's just the beginning for me. Ace's heart skipped a beat. Not to mention, because of this huge engulfment, his Phantom Beast Gluttonous Fruit, in addition to various basic abilities, has been greatly improved. And officially entered the Awakening. Fruit Awakening. Conditions. In addition to developing the ability to a certain extent, it is also necessary to achieve the unity of mind and body skills. This is the chance to trigger the awakening. Yes. Has a chance to trigger. It's not that you wake up whenever you want, just like sleeping, you have to be full and sleep enough. The opportunity must be met. Of course, Asa has crossed this stage. The mind and body skills have been integrated and fixed into a realm. Enter the second stage. If you want to wake up, you only need to stabilize it for a few days and fully control it, and you can open it at any time. And the reason for being able to master Awakening today is also very simple. Asa, smash everything in Area 0, and after cooking, start high power absorption. Suck. After running to a certain point, it will be achieved naturally. Normally, that's it. It didn't say that you have to experience a life and death crisis before you can open it. Also, the increase after the initial awakening brought to Asa, and it was not as simple as a 30-40% increase in strength. Charlotte Asa, you are surrounded by us. Bursts of roars interrupted Asa's train of thought. Look down. Discovery is a life-threatening marine. They don't seem to want to provoke Asa either, but the crowd is getting bigger and bigger. In public, facing pirates. If Marine flinched and turned a blind eye, wouldn't his prestige be greatly reduced? In time, it would be unimaginable if it spread. So, I could only bite the bullet and shout. At the same time, the adjutant summoned a part of the Marines to sort out these desperate people again urgently. Call out. A sailor seemed to have misfired his gun and accidentally pulled the trigger of his flintlock. Immediately afterwards, like a chain reaction, one after another, the tongues of flames shot upwards. A small part is also wrapped around Hockey. Seeing Scion Vice Admiral, everyone is stupid. Let you put on a show, anyway, you are far away, shout in a low voice, so that the public can hear it, as long as Asa can't hear it. It can't be done, and it's okay. But why the hell are you shooting? Undercover. These guys. Scion Vice Admiral was startled and terrified. He has just climbed to this point by various dark means, not to die, but to enjoy. Enjoy the privileges that come with your position. Unexpectedly, today, such a thing happened. Call out. Shish. However, a jaw-dropping scene happened. A black bullet. Except for the waves shaking on Asa's body, like ripples on the surface of a lake, there was nothing else. The bullet disappears. Nothing happened. Impossible. Is he a Logia fruit-capable user? But Hockey, why didn't it work? Sir, is there a possibility that this is also the power of Paramesha Munch fruit? Your Munch fruit, the skin can also absorb attacks. Possible. Is it really developed to this extent? Quote. The Marines looked at the slender figure on the high ground and glanced down. They were not injured in any way, and they all retreated subconsciously. Then, before the second wave of impact was sent out, Linlin in the distance rushed there first. A shot of Prometheus, like a small bomb, blow up a ton of Marines and take this team to pieces. This made Asa, who just wanted to do it, lose interest. After awakening, his basic ability has also been strengthened, just like just now, he can absorb bullets invisible. Also, most intuitively, it is to have dark fruit, except for side effects, all nature abilities. Super gravity, suction, compression crushing, release and repulsion, physical absorption, bullets, blades, attacks, fire and lightning. In addition to physical, spiritual soul, fruit ability. At the same time, super absorption has been added. Activate corrupting fog. In the living body, that is, contact with a human body that can resist can absorb its physical strength and fruit ability for a short period of time, making it incapacitated. That is to say, either don't touch Asa, once contact occurs, physical strength and fruit ability will be lost. Weaker ones, it will be absorbed in an instant. Even if the target is evenly matched, it will become weaker and weaker, the ability will continue to be absorbed, and the strength will be weakened to a certain extent. Comparable to dark fruit, gluttonous devouring, secretly plundering. It's not bad at all. Also, it can also enter a state similar to elementalization. Strictly speaking, dark fruit can also be elementalized. But when people turn into elements, they turn into black holes. Attract the attack to the main body, and the main body will be injured in the end. This elementalization is basically useless. Asa is different. He has a small world in his stomach, which can absorb a certain level of attacks into his stomach. Of course, to a certain extent. If it is too intense, it may cause a stomachache. After all, you can't chew too much. Speaking of which, the small world has also expanded several times, and its phagocytosis has been strengthened to accommodate more. These are base boosts. The real thing lies in the addition of phantom beasts. Zone. After awakening, it can greatly improve recovery ability and combat effectiveness. Phantom beast species will only be more pervert, reaching true, devouring all things. One step to the stomach. It can also expand the special power, and then maximize the original basic power. Awakening. In the future, if you encounter unpredictable things, this is the strongest hole card. It is not impossible to continue to develop and devour the island. Single quote. Number. Single quote. Even, you can try it now. Single quote. Asa just thought of this, but dismissed it. Smaller islands are fine, but the key point is not good. After all, what can be improved by eating only soil and rocks? Elder brother. Suddenly, Linlin jumped to the bottom and waved to Asa. Asa regained consciousness. Grabbing the drowsy Zeus, he jumped down. Little sister. I wanted to throw Zeus to Linlin, but when I thought about its previous performance, I smiled slightly. You might as well give Zeus to me. So sloppy. Linlin didn't think for a second, then grinned and nodded, very happy. Her things belong to my brother. It does not matter. Just kidding with you. Asa shook her head and shook her head, before getting back to business. Where are the hosts of the auction? It's all there. Speaking of this, Linlin is very excited. It seemed that he couldn't wait, and wanted to go back and count the harvest, but they said that they paid the money and delivered the goods. I let Napoleon freeze them first. Oh, is it so? Asa nodded slightly, without wasting time, and went with Linlin. The ultimate purpose of his coming here is still those auction items. See, the siblings left together. This time, the few Marines that survived didn't dare to stop them, and they didn't even dare to take a breath. Including Scion Vice Admiral. Lying on the ground, Chun pretended to be dead. Even thinking about, after today, if the damage is like this, it can be supplemented by a huge military expenditure. It's okay even if you go too far. All sins, blame Charlotte Asa. He did all the bad things. Thinking, as if falling asleep. I don't know how long. Scion felt a bit of pain before trying to close his eyes. With this squint, he found that the surrounding area was hazy, as if he was in a chaotic space. While being weird, it made him a little confused. Where is this? You just woke up now, are you excited? Get some more sleep. Single quote. He was confused, and when he was about to close his eyes again, a voice exploded in his head. Huh, not dead, never mind. The aura of greed on your body is heavier than that of some pirates, but it is quite a good ingredient. The magnetic sound fell. Don't, I am Sarn Vice Admiral, Your Excellency. Immediately afterwards, Scion Vice Admiral, who was confused about the situation, gradually lost his breath in a heart-piercing burst. Well, pretend to be dead, people are really gone. Outside world, on the contrary, some small Marines survived. Soon, by the time one of the current Marine admirals, a vigorous man, arrived in a hurry, he had already missed Asa. At this moment, he looked at everything around him. Angry, in particular, after learning that the only celestial dragons in Area Zero disappeared together in the debris. Even more angry, hands shaking. Charlotte, 2 siblings. Where are people? His horrifying aura erupted, and the shocked Marines shrank their heads like quails. Empty Admiral. There was Rear Admiral trembling. Perhaps because of your strength, the 2 of them ran away early. Fart. Even this Admiral couldn't help uttering hidden words. It's obvious that I'm late. This is really bad. He changed his mind quickly and took remedial measures. Block the news. You also put today's matter in your stomach. Now, start the search immediately. Arrest all suspicious people on the Sabayati ground. I'm going to smash the pirate ship stranded in the port. Also, in 3 minutes. Pay attention to avoid evacuating the crowd. 10 warships will carry out carpet bombing on Area Zero. Quote. As one order after another was issued, the garrison and reinforcements began to be busy, but when they heard that they were going to bomb the empty Zero area, many people began to twitch their mouths. But he didn't dare to say anything. This kind of thing will be known when the report is sent out tomorrow. Zone 0 port. Roger and Rayleigh looked at each other. Hey, no way, I didn't meet again. Rayleigh, do you think there is a special fruit ability that prevents us from meeting? Or is fate against us? Don't take me, it's against you again. Quote. The last time the 2 detected, the aura of the Charlotte brothers and sisters was here. Then he came with a feeling of apprehension. After. There will be no more. Because, they never met again. Obviously so close, but missed the opportunity. Not only that, the unowned pirate ships that originally gathered here also disappeared out of thin air. Like, being sucked away by something. Even all the treasures, people or things on board are gone. To know, on these ships, however, people from Area Zero, a large amount of assets, and many items belonging to pirate merchant ships are hidden there. How much wealth do you have to have? Now, only faint ripples are left, proving that it existed. If they had come a few seconds earlier, they might have seen what was going on. No way, I can only wait for the next time, when I go to the world. Roger doesn't believe it. I can't touch it yet. Whoop, sudden, a figure fell not far away. Splash, a lot of gravel. The cloak of justice behind him rattled. This astonishing presence is none other than Marine Admiral Kong. Only, now in the eyes of Roger and Rayleigh, this Marine Admiral, looking at the empty sea. Forehead, there seemed to be a few question marks popping up, as if he thought that he had come to the wrong place. For a long time, there was no response. That's, Marine Admiral, right. It's still the strongest one. It's not easy to mess with, let's go. You two, stop. That night, the news was edited in a hurry, under the public relations of Marine and world government. The next day, the newspaper flies to the sea, the content is refined true. Sabayati Digima News. Marine strikes hard. The disappearing No. 0 Super Auction House. World government, execute justice. Sin auction, this time there is a gathering of dark giants. Islanders hate it. Marine will not be tolerated. 10 warships. Headquarters Admiral is dispatched. Carpet-style destruction. Number 0 Lawless Zone. Disappearing world, one praise from the islanders of Sabayati. Headquarters Admiral, with his own strength, destroyed 100 pirate ships. Clear Sabayati's Chaos Harbor. The end of the evil giants. No more Zone 0. Before people arrive, the thief dies first. Kong Admiral, before reaching the island, the great pirate Akoku was scared away by the air. Wei Yang Si Hai, this daily, almost all marine victories are all due to Marine's credit. At the foot of the Holy Land. It is peaceful and peaceful, how could something bad happen? How could Marine be deflated? So, the Asa brothers and sisters are rarely mentioned throughout the article. As for authenticity, are there good reviews on the island? Those who know the real inside story, seeing this, have you scolded your mother, scolded Marine for being shameless and shameless? Then I don't know. But, the paper bag will not catch fire after all. Even if it can be covered for a short time, as time goes by, the real information will still be spread. Then stage another version. The words in red belong to the Charlotte siblings. After all, not all newspapers are at the mercy of the world government. Just for now, this is the biggest. A few seas away, Krajgana Island. Outside a gloomy castle, Akoku came here with injuries. Scanning the contents of the newspaper, the corners of his mouth began to twitch. When Lousy was knocked back by Marine Admiral. This, just call it Marine Daily. He tore up the newspaper irritably, finally took a deep breath, looked at the ancient gate in front of him, and continued to wait. Yes, I didn't choose to go in. Because the inner man hates contact with other people. What's up? Suddenly, a strange voice appeared in Akoku's mind. With a trace of blood. It seems that as long as he can't speak, he will be unable to eat and walk around. I want you to do me a favor. I'll go to Beehive Island with me in 3 months. As a reward, Akoku lowered his voice. Aren't you interested in that fruit? I can tell you where it is. Although this person is young, Akoku also has to be cautious. It really hurts to trade that priceless fruit. When you came up with this idea, I have already read its location in your mind. With a slightly languid voice, Akoku also took a deep breath. Read heartfelt voice. Baloric Redfield, this guy who is almost a monster in terms of knowledge and color. Really annoying. Without waiting for Akoku to think about it, the voice changed again. Compared to this, I'm more curious, the guy you fear in your mind. Snort. You seem to have been defeated without even seeing him. Language fall. It is also an instant. A dark red shadow flickered behind Akoku, and immediately touched the back of his head with one hand. It was Redfield. Akoku clenched his fists and didn't move. Now that he is injured, he has no chance of winning. In seconds, Redfield's interest is getting stronger and stronger. His knowledgeable color is very unusual. Akoku, compared to you. Compared to me. Redfield's tone was aloof. Of course, it's not worth mentioning. However, it only refers to the attainments of knowledge and color. After all, so far, he has not met an opponent. Hello. Don't underestimate him. Akoku raised his eyelids. I just suffered a big loss in this regard. Many pirates are not good at this, not seeing or experiencing it with their own eyes. No matter how strong, he doesn't take it seriously. Just to challenge. This. Don't worry about it. Redfield didn't even glance at him, as if he was afraid of dirtying his eyes. As long as you know, I'm interested and will go. That's enough. Toto Land Sea Area. Cake Island, the capital of gluttony. Asa is still digesting the harvest on Sabayati's land, the tens of hundreds of ships, and the goods on them. Speaking of which, if the Sky Island gold is not counted, the total amount is collected and converted into money. About tens of billions of Baileys. Not too low. After all, it is impossible for anyone to take all their belongings out once they go out. maximum value, or the various supplies and ammunition on the ship, and even a few devil fruits that were discovered by accident. Besides, if you count the Sky Island gold, the total is 30 billion Baileys. There will be no shortage of money in the next few years. Enough nations, dozens of islands to build and develop on a scale. Certainly, 30 billion does not count as the hometown of gold, Sandora. Why doesn't it count? How should I put it? Many people have a misunderstanding, thinking that this is a pure gold city. Actually not. At least what Asa saw was a city with gold-plated skin, if the gold on the surface was chiseled off. It's worth the money. The internal structure is really not all gold. Besides, it's the auction items, Adam Treasure Tree and Murloc Tom. At the top of the castle, looking at the port from a distance, Asa is preparing materials for building a Murloc for the chess soldiers to cooperate with. He picked up the treasure. Tom, the world's #1 shipbuilder in the future, is also Frankie's master. Built Oro Jackson for Roger. In the later period, it was still designed in the capital of Seven Waters, and tracks and sea trains were laid on the sea. It can be said that he is an epic shipbuilder of all ages. This time, it was built by him, the Supermain ship headed to Hive Island. And this is just the beginning. With Tom, Wangguo can build a large shipyard. In the future, so many scattered islands may take the sea train route. Expand traffic, or get an ability similar to Dao Dao Fruit. Merge the islands into one. But this way, as the range expands, that's more of a need for the train. Regardless, this is cutting-edge technology. Traffic is the vein of economy and the link of civilization. Single quote. This can't be wrong. Single quote. After that, there is a pair of sisters and brothers at the auction, the Lunaria family. Asa extracts its bloodline. The old way, created a baby of the Charlotte family. It has the characteristics of the Lunaria family, and with a fruit, it must not be bad. Investment baby +1. Third, devil fruit. These are the three from the auction: Healing, Gas, and Yamada no Orochi. The other three are Momo, Saber-toothed Tiger, and Pteranodon. Because people are broken into pieces, the fruit is directly reborn. As expected, after all, it is an open field. If it is a fully enclosed type, it may be closed and sucked away. But not bad. After all, the harvest of auction items is not small, such as the phantom beast Yamada no Orochi. Like zones, Asa can be built in the future and belongs to the animal army of all nations, just like Beast's pirates. The other two fruits, Heal, Gas. Asa made two noble phantasms separately. One is the Ring of Healing. The second is the Gas Tongue Nail. Equipped with Prometheus for the little sister, it can enhance the characteristics of fire and poisonous gas. Speaking of which, the tongue nail is a bit messed up. But there is no way, other parts are not easy to equip, and the little son has no hands or feet. Never take off its eyeballs. Make a fruit fake pupil. It's not impossible to take the exam. Above, foreign things are foreign things after all, they are used to help myself and my little sister, and protect all nations. What really matters is yourself. The greatest breakthrough. Ace's heart moved slightly. After absorbing the soul of the entire number 0 area, it has greatly improved in terms of spirit and courage. Feedback back. It's Conqueror's hockey, an unprecedented breakthrough. After the armed color and knowledge color, step into the top third color. Conqueror's hockey is also the most special. Because it cannot be acquired through acquired practice, it can only be strengthened by improving the courage. But devouring is different. Before awakening, hockey has almost no bottlenecks. Not to mention, ever since Asa and his younger sister established the Kingdom of Nations, and successively brought 9 Snake Island and Sky Island under their command, Conquerors has been rising steadily. Now take advantage of the trend. It's as if it's full of fuel, sitting on a rocket, jumping directly into outer space, and reaching the apex of the throne. Flexible, fine control, mental skills and physical fitness. Knowledge kill, Conqueror's winding, full comprehension. Zizi. Asa, who was standing on the top floor, waved his right hand, and a pure red light appeared. The most basic thing that can be felt is the increase in attack power. With every gesture, even if you don't touch the enemy, you can still cause unimaginable damage. Stack buff. Add armed colors. The destructive power can be raised to another level. Even Linlin's Man of Steel Asa can easily destroy it, of course he won't do that. A contest is a contest. Between the two brothers and sisters, there has never been a serious move, and they are afraid of accidentally hurting each other. About there. Get rid of. In addition to absorbing the soul of Area Zero, he also has tens of thousands of extra memories. These memories, it can also be used as a means of attack, refer to memory fruit, release memory thread from space, which can cause memory confusion to the target, causing the brain to shut down. Can't move. In Ace's small world, there is a huge amount of memory, and under subtle control, higher level operations can be performed. That is to say, external release. It can be compressed to form something similar to the field. For details, you can refer to Gojo Satoru. He can also turn the memory into nullification information and stuff it into the opponent's mind. This trick will be very pervert. After reading this, Asa already has a direction. Now, little sister also has a sense of urgency. Soaking in the cultivation, she will soon make great achievements and make further progress. And Stussy. Asa suddenly remembered this woman. He brought it back. The reason for keeping it is because on the surface, Stussy looks fancy, loves money and is coquettish. Not like a serious woman. In fact, there is another identity, scientist. Then staying in IWC is a good choice. After all, Toto Land still lacks talents. 3 months later, Beehive Island. This will be the beginning of Charlotte's resounding world. Ace's starry eyes shone slightly. I don't know if there will be any accidents during this period. After all, he just made a big fuss on Sabayati. It would be great if Marine could focus on rocks. Unfortunately, not realistic. Then, make the final preparations. Naval Headquarters, Marineford, temporary meeting room. All the nasty incidents caused by Asa made Marine hate her deeply. To know, in this day and age, Marine represents the pinnacle of the sea. Pirates are crushed everywhere and cannot hold their heads up. How many times have you been deflated? This is until now. In this era, why didn't there be a system similar to 7 Warlords of the Sea? Because it is completely unnecessary. But for now, look at the trend. I'm afraid this pattern will be completely broken in the near future. Shiki, Edward Newgate, Baloric Redfield. The new star powerhouses of the pirates have begun to rise sporadically, and we haven't waited for us to extinguish them yet. The Charlotte brothers and sisters appeared again. And they both. In the past few weeks alone, there have been more serious and bad incidents than the total number of incidents in Newgate. Destroy the country and build the country. Kill the Silver Wolf. Number 0 auction event. The marshal of the headquarters went to the Holy Land and had no time for a meeting, so he dumped the blame on Kong. And it's not the first time he's hosted. So skillful. But I didn't expect it to be so serious this time. Especially the death of the celestial dragons completely discredited the government, and they attached great importance to Asa. Also extremely angry. Preparations have already begun, and an extermination operation will be carried out on it. If left alone, it's the next rocks. This plan. Not only will the highest combat power of the headquarters participate, but also special weapons will be invested. Kong, I gave everyone a vaccination, so I won't say more, because at this stage, this is still confidential. Is there a targeted plan? Below, Headquarters Vice Admiral. Headquarters Rear Admiral. They all had different expressions, and most of them wanted to join the battle, but Kong didn't reply and just asked everyone to wait for news. And a crane sitting in a corner. But his eyes flashed, and he didn't know what to think. Hide and hide. It's not happy at all. We are all our own people. Are you still afraid of leaking the news? Sengoku, Zephyr, Xiaohei. The young Garp carelessly bumped into the 2 comrades in arms beside him, and then looked at he again. Do you think so? Don't talk nonsense, Garp. Crane's complexion remained unchanged. The one above naturally has the attention of the one above. Garp, if those pirates are the scourge, then you will mark the future of our marine. So from today on, Kong's voice changed their thoughts back. Appropriate resources will be poured out to your generation in large quantities. Please don't let me and the marshal down. Below, both Sengoku and Zephyr nodded. The eyes flickered. They really want to take revenge, but whether it is strength or all aspects, they are not enough now. Like, all previous petitions were rejected. This made the 3 strongest members of the new generation of Marine not only dissatisfied, but also suffocated. Including the strongest Garp. Not strong enough. They must try harder. Although I don't understand why Asa is so pervert. But as Marine, how can he lose to pirates? After that, Garp took the lead and doubled the amount of training every day. Start brushing more hills. For the other two, Sengoku Zephyr didn't dare to relax, just for a fight. Well, Asa didn't expect either. Because of the appearance of his butterfly, the three of them were suffocated, their talents were fully utilized, and they rushed to the top faster. It is also stronger than the original work of the same period. Besides, there are more important things. Have you mentioned the Hive Island incident? Rock's purpose is self-evident. He's converging. We don't know what the most potential and top pirates in the world are going to do. But the ultimate goal must be to plunge the world into darkness. Pirates, we cannot unite. Kong's deep voice, that extremely majestic voice, mobilized everyone's emotions. We must not let him get what he wants. End of the meeting. Everyone is pumping up their horsepower, and their spirits are all different, as if they have some kind of mission on their shoulders. They all have a hunch that the war will be triggered at any time. New world. Various branches. As time passed, warships began to be dispatched in large numbers to attack the pirate ships headed to Hive Island from time to time. Yes, this is the hand to play. We don't take the initiative, we don't seek war with you Hive Island, we don't compete with you rocks. But bullying other pirates. Block your way, okay. Gia ha 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 ha. Marine, go ahead. Time flies like a white horse, in the blink of an eye, 3 months have passed. Now, in the sky above the waters heading towards the Hive Island, a blonde and insolent man swiped a knife in both hands. 2 golden waves tear apart the warship below. Call out. When it's over, the 2 knives are released, the hands become claws, and the void descends. Behind, hundreds of sharp cones soared down, piercing through the hull, causing bursts of explosions. In the screams, the strong waves caused several Marine vice admirals to fly out without any resistance. Next time if it's still rubbish, don't come. Lousy is not interested in playing anymore. After that, he landed on the main ship. Put your eyes on the front. Among the several islands, the largest one is like the moon surrounded by stars. It was also at this moment that the younger brothers immediately went forward to brag. You just hit one hand, even if you meet the most popular Charlotte Asa, you can easily defeat it. Don't talk nonsense to Lousy as a whole. Akoku, John, Silver Axe, are they here yet? It's all here. I heard that Akoku has brought a powerful helper. Trash. You still need someone to help you, HMPH. Shiki stretched out his hand and withdrew his swords. That Charlotte Asa, if he comes too, must be Lousy's first dish. Call out. Who rumbling? Farther away from Hive Island, and the Shiki fleet. On a lone ship, a tall and strong man spun his naginata and slashed forward. Seawater. Flying shells. Ship. All Marines. In front of his naginata, it turned into a white thread, which split automatically after a few seconds. A deep gully appeared. Edward. Clang. After several collisions. Even alternate admiral was defeated, his mouth was broken, and he flew upside down hundreds of meters away. Clatter. The salty sea water dripped down. The blonde Newgate shook his body slightly, dried himself up, and immediately sat down cross-legged. Quietly. Rest your chin. Thinking of the woman named Stussy before, did you? Are they captured? It's still active. Gu la 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 la. Anyway, if we meet again, as long as I want, I will snatch you back. He said, looking at the Beehive Island. From a distance, it seems that he has his own, real pursuit. Charlotte. What an enviable brother-sister relationship. In another bearing, farther from the Newgate boat. 10 warships surround the new and dazzling super pirate ship side by side. Center. The ship's flag. It's a long-horned skull, even if it's biting a cake, it's still mighty hockey. Only now and then, in the hollow eyes of the skeleton, a pair of eyeballs pop out and glance around. The hull below it also has eyes, mouth and facial features, looking at the Marine ship ahead. A very humane display of hostility. Gulu. The Marines clenched their guns tightly and swallowed their saliva, not knowing whether they were nervous or afraid. On the opposite bow, the man in white smiled and moved. He stretched out his right hand and waved it away. Brush. On the wooden table in front of me, Slices of radish were evenly broken and put into the hot pot. After cooking for a while, the fragrance diffuses. Fish up. He began to chew carefully, showing a satisfied smile. It's not bad to eat some vegetarian food in moderation. For a while, the swallowing sounds of the Marines in front became more intensive. They are here, watching Asa eat for more than 10 minutes, dare not start. But every time Asa strikes, everyone thinks that Asa will make a fake move, but in fact it is a big move, but every time he handles the dishes, then puts them in the pot, and then eats slowly. In fact, the mentality of playing people. All right. Since you don't do it. Asa's eyes moved slightly, and the Marines who heard the words suddenly became nervous again. I'm leaving. Marine. The reason for leaving is because Linlin is back. With this in mind, a cloud just happened to draw from behind and landed on the bow of the ship. It was the energetic Linlin. Smells good. Is there any type of vegetable I like, brother? She poked her head eagerly. Of course there is. Asa smiled kindly. At the same time, this ship Row Owl Queen singing after welcoming back her little queen, began to sing melodious songs and set sail. The name of the ship is a bit casual, but it is not casual. The Row Owl is Asa and the queen is the younger sister. Singing. It can be regarded as a common hobby of the two. Asa likes listening to music, Linlin likes to sing. Hence the name. Hulala. The giant ship sailed across the sea. Straight out from the center of the huge gap between the two Marine ships in front. Period. The Marine Vice Admiral above wanted to order an attack several times, but in the end he still couldn't muster up the courage. Well, discrimination. It is completely different from the treatment of Shaki and Newgate. In fact, this Vice Admiral is not to blame. After all, both siblings are there. These monsters, hit by them unlucky. Just now, one of them was solved by Charlotte Linlin without any accident. The above is also the headquarters Vice Admiral. So fast, is there any point in resisting? Fitch Vice Admiral. Seeing that there was a distance away, some officers hesitated. How should we explain? What words? How to explain what? We have been chasing, haven't we? You didn't see it. Fitch Vice Admiral took a deep breath and continued to command. Don't let them escape. Keep catching up. Stay as far away as possible, though. Hearing this, the officer froze for a moment, then suddenly realized. Then, warships started to follow the singing slowly. The latter slowed down, and the Marine also slowed down. The latter stops, and so does the Marine ship. Stuck in an awkward position. Elder brother, what are they going to do? They have been following us. Do you want to kill them? Linlin glanced back and frowned slightly. These 3 months. In terms of Homitz's control, she got a qualitative improvement. Napoleon plus Daco True God. Zeus plus Thunder. Prometheus plus Gas. This little sun is currently the weakest, but in time, if it eats a suitable fire attribute fruit, it may not be impossible to catch up. Now, Linlin really wants to show off the results so far. Do not care. Marines have families. Asa shook her head and took a sip of her tea. Maybe I have brothers and sisters just like you and me. People don't offend me, I don't offend others. If someone offends me, I will cut the weeds and root them out. This is his code of conduct. In addition, to put it bluntly, if the ants follow nothing, will you step on too? It's good. Linlin put away his impulse. Actually, think about it, Marine blocked the people who went to the Hive Island, and also helped the Rocks select the elite. Asa glanced at her. What's the matter, bro? Linlin chuckled. Is my opinion unique? No. Asa looked back. Glancing at the vegetables in the hot pot, which were imbued with souls and turned into food Homits. I want to say, little girl, you can see that they can swim by themselves, fight and turn over. Although I'm familiar with it quickly, isn't it too creepy? Have it. Linlin blinked, took the bowl, and watched the food come in one by one, but, it's very convenient to come in by itself. I like to joke again. My brother is a specialist in swallowing. Swallowing, in the eyes of outsiders, that is the real creepy person. Convenient. I can clip it for you. Good. Linlin wanted to agree, but after thinking about it for a second, he suddenly smiled and said, but, sometimes, they will enter my mouth by themselves. That's where Homits comes in handy. Can jump, and take the initiative to let you eat. So, Ace's eyes twitched. Do you want me to feed you too? Aha! Linlin nodded, the swan's neck with anticipation in his eyes, as if he hadn't enjoyed such a treatment for a long time. My chopsticks have saliva, but they are not clean. It's okay. There is a product. Asa took the chopstick handle and tapped her on the forehead. But you don't care, I do. Besides, how can you be so big as you and let someone feed you? As a child, for a while, he fed Linlin, but at that time, watching him grow up a little bit, he felt a sense of cultivation. In short, as a pet, for fun. At that time Linlin was chubby and didn't exercise much. The more you feed, the fatter you get. Now that the amount of exercise is up, the weight loss effect is obvious, but I can no longer get used to it. Okay. Linlin didn't dare to disobey his elder brother, so he sucked back his soul, and the food became much more peaceful. The two began to concentrate on making dinner. The hill-like piles of food were quickly cut down. This scene, looking at the rear deck, Stussy was coming along with him, and he was stunned for a while. The appetite of the two. Not to mention, if there is no country behind it, it really can't afford it. As time goes by, the cook gets the job done. Marine is still following, but has slowed down, because the Hive Island can gradually see the outline. It's really like a big beehive. Asa put down the bowl and chopsticks and watched quietly from a distance. Skeleton Hive. Hachinosu. I don't know if I remembered it wrong or what, but the beehive island here, according to the proportion, feels much larger than in the original book. At least 3 times. In addition to being big, it is even more magnificent and magnificent. The visual impact is far from being felt in manga and anime. And around, there are also a lot of small islands scattered around. According to Ace's knowledge, I took a rough look. There are hundreds of thousands of people. Adding in the approximately 300,000 people on Hive Island, the total would be over 1 million. Of course, it's not all pirates. It also includes a large number of service personnel, most of whom are women, covering a wide range of areas, dancers, singers and so on. I understand everything. In addition, sunny beach bikinis, ice cream that can be delivered without buying a car. Everything is also available. Anyway, it is a place to provide joy and base camp for pirates. It is really a pure pirate paradise. A real den of thieves. Actually, Asa doesn't have much contact with his fellow pirate. Most of them meet and fight to snatch each other's supplies. In today's case, is it an in-depth exchange? Thinking about it, his eyes suddenly narrowed slightly. Also at this moment, a wave of Conqueror's hockey erupted from the giant beehive island in front of him. Straight up here. It is yellow, and it is arrogant and does not say hello at all. Conquerors, hockey, you're not welcome at all. I'm coming, brother. Before Asa set off, Linlin took the lead, standing at the bow of the boat and releasing it too. Whoa, boom, the pink half-dome swept out, rushing across the sea. For a while, the two sides fought evenly. Obviously, the existence over there is not weak. And with a high probability, it was longer than Linlin's control of Conquerors, but she still blocked it. Even faintly overwhelmed, the talent obviously surpasses the opponent. Just when Linlin thought that there was a stalemate for a while, and both sides were about to disperse, suddenly there was Conquerors from another direction. This is Silver. Cooperating with the yellow too, it immediately overwhelmed Linlin and retracted a little bit. The strong mental pressure made Linlin even more depressed. Call out. It seems that the dislike is too slow, and another bloody light radiates from the front center, forming 3 colors together. This way, Linlin's head seemed to have been hit hard, and the blood on his face faded away in an instant. Conquerors. The comparison is boldness, spiritual perseverance and will. Therefore, Linlin is still gritting his teeth and persisting, but the decline is getting faster and faster. After all, it is 3 people working together, so how can it be so simple? It's really, are you going to show off your majesty when you first come? Ace's eyes darkened slightly. After taking a sip of the rippling tea, he put down his cup and stepped forward. Hoo-hoo. As we move forward, the spiritual wind in front of him made the cloak rattle behind him. It also made it difficult for the hominins to resist and stop babbling and singing. Now, Stussy also raised his arms in the rear, trying to reduce the impact, but his body continued to paddle the deck and slip back. Until Asa took the 3rd step. A smear of purple light flashed across the eyes, and the monstrous momentum like sheer as hell exploded out. No pressure here. Asa Conquerors is different from the norm. With thick purple flames, the spirit is so strong that it almost drips out of water. So the strength can also be seen. Amadara instantly overwhelmed Linlin, and with his own power, forcibly crushed the first three parties back. 3 seconds, then it crossed the horizon and started a 2-level reversal. Call out, ZZZ, boom. The other side seemed to be stunned for a moment, never expecting such a mistake. Immediately, then he gritted his teeth and let out the remaining strength. In an instant, several powerful lightning bolts of various colors flashed in the center. Interweaving with each other, fighting comes. Linlin's has already retired, so Asa is now. 1 hit 3. Conqueror's collision. It didn't take long for the two sides to contact each other, and the seawater became more manic, rewinding to a height of more than 10 meters, and the power was rising steadily. Hoo-hoo. On the other side of the Beehive Island, billowing dense sand was swept up, and the people who fell in close range fell down one by one. Farther away, pirates and service personnel on several surrounding islands, their eyes rolled white at this moment, both in progress and over. Without desire, they all fell down in a row. The air begins to twist. The faces of the three released on the Hive Island also distorted. The turmoil and shock in my heart. Some are indescribable. God, they are the joint efforts of 3 people, but in the end, can they overwhelm any one of them? Asa is still moving forward, and the closer she is to Linlin, the stronger her spirit and coercion will be. Conquerors. Affect the substance. It has already been affected. If it wasn't for the Queen's hull, it would have adopted Adam's treasure tree, which is the world's best in terms of sturdiness. I am afraid that as early as an instant, he was overwhelmed. We have pursued to the limit distance. Empty Admiral. Beehive Island is ahead. That's right, it's confirmed that they are the Charlotte brothers and sisters. Fitch Vice Admiral is holding a phone bug and reporting seriously. In my heart, I was very fortunate. Following along the way, I met the Charlotte brothers and sisters, and nothing happened. You can brag about it when you go back. I haven't thought much about it yet. All of a sudden, he was stunned by a strong shock in front of him. Call out, ZZZ. The invisible purple lightning exploded here. It is also an instant. The hulls of the 10 warships immediately burst into streaks, and Hockey's impact force was so high that it directly pushed the hulls and turned them upside down at a speed of 10 per second per second. What happened? Quick, hold on, don't get blown out. No, I can't. Yes, only 1 in a million people can have it. Conqueror's Hockey. Quote. 10 warships. Those under the major of the headquarters didn't even hold on for a second before passing out. Even sea soldiers who have experienced many battles are without exception, including phone bugs, all communication equipment, all interrupted at this moment. And the rear admirals, reluctantly, they were fortunate enough to see a scene that made them unforgettable all their lives. Sky, look up quickly. The sky is cracked. How did you do this kind of thing? Is this still human power? After shouting this voice, even Rear Admiral fell to the ground under the impact of Zishan. Fitch, Vice Admiral himself, was pressed down on one knee. His forehead was dripping with sweat. He a crow's mouth. No, hang on. He is Vice Admiral. How can I be stunned? It's still 1,000 meters away. How embarrassing. But gradually, Feiqi's consciousness still began to be confused, and at a point of acceptance, he passed out completely. The front has also been decided. Hoo-hoo. On the broken deck, gusts of sea breeze blew. Look around. Masts, hatches, hulls. Even the keel is torn, and there is a danger of overturning at any time. I do not know how long it has been. When Feiqi got up in a daze, apart from a headache, he found that the shadow of the Hive Island had disappeared. Look up close. 10 warships were scattered, only 3 remained. The sailors also collapsed on the ground. Except for him, the rest of them showed no signs of waking up. This is me. How long have I been lying down? Fitch felt lingering fear when he thought of the power before, and didn't know how to describe it. No, a few minutes later. As soon as the phone bug woke up and opened his eyes, his upper and lower lips immediately began to flap, indicating that there was an incoming call. Hearing this, Fitch quickly connected. Finally accepted. After confirming that it was Vice Admiral Fitch, the operator breathed a sigh of relief. Please wait a moment. The phone bug is very vivid, growing a beard. The voice became dignified. Just now, what happened? Empty, Admiral. Fitch was a little ashamed. We may have been attacked, or the impact of the aftermath. It's not a report. Is there no one around? No matter how fast the attack is. As Kong said, he paused after hearing the words, what, aftermath? It's Conqueror's hockey. Brother and sister Charlotte, they in Hive Island. Wait, Conquerors, New World, G1 branch. Admiral's temporary office. Kong's face trembled slightly. You are a vice admiral. Stunned by Conquerors. But on second thought, Fitch's strength is fine, but the problem is strength. He also has Conquerors, but between colliding with people, being separated from the air, and stunned at the level of vice admiral. Kong thought. His eyes sank. Asa and his sister work together. If it reaches this level, it's barely enough, he can accept it. After all, these two are always unexpected. But if it was Asa, the brat did it alone. That Conquerors, in terms of the king's spirit, he has already ranked at the top of the world. Past him, approached the Fitch, you go to the nearest branch to repair first, there will be a special scout ship dispatched. Kong took a deep breath. Outside, keep an eye on the Charlotte brothers and sisters. Now, the generals around the office didn't dare to breathe, they were both horrified and suspicious. And Kong said, looking through the window, looking at the square, the young faces, the young Marines, are full of youthful blood. If Asa continues to grow. No, there is no if. Kong clenched his fists, and a strong thought came to him, it would be great if the Charlotte brothers and sisters belonged to Marine. Go into the rocks, den of thieves. One mistake, another mistake. On the singing trumpet, Stussy was very surprised, obviously the impact was so strong that it shattered the sky. But so close, she's all right. The homits on board were also fine, as if they were blocked by an invisible force. Could it be? Charlotte Asa collided and still had the energy to protect each of them. This boy, Stussy's sense of attachment grew stronger. It's a pity that Charlotte Linlin, who is always clinging to him, has no chance to hand at all. Elder brother, on the bow, seeing that the older brother passed by, Conquerors immediately overwhelmed the opponent and won a decisive victory. Linlin's eyes became brighter and brighter. Have you had great breakthrough again? While happy, there was a deep discouragement. Too strong, this growth rate is not human at all. The higher the road, the more bumpy and difficult it is. My ascent speed will slow down a lot in the future. But Linlin, you are different. Come on, we'll catch up soon. Asa said a word of comfort and looked forward. Not so much a victory. It is better to say that the other party gave up voluntarily, knowing that it is meaningless to continue, and maybe there will be even more ugly things, so stop in time. But sometimes, hands are not so easy to collect. Also at this moment, in the three directions of the Hive Island, the three figures all took a step back, their faces were very ugly. Conquerors, doesn't mean anything. Waiting for you inside. Only pure strength can prove everything, just come on. Three figures disappeared. A few minutes later, a middle-aged man and a middle-aged woman in kimonos hurried over. See, the pirate queens who fell side by side on the street. My forehead started to sweat a little. When they arrived at the shore for reception, they had already seen the approaching super-giant ship. It's the singing number. Under the lovely wind, fierceness is hidden. The degree of refinement of the hull is not even comparable to Rock's main ship, and only in terms of size, it can overwhelm it. My lords, the two members of the Kurozumi family, Kurozumi Higurashi and Kurozumi Semimaru, bowed hastily. Don't dare to look directly at the two people above. Clatter. The boat docked. There is no need to artificially drop the anchor, and homits on board will do everything, and finally lower the longboard. You guys are really polite, is that how you welcome guests? The two walked down. Linlin did his part, and the fierceness with which he raised the knife made Kurozumi Higurashi dare not make a sound. Two adults. Every big pirate who enters will be baptized like this. Those who can bear it are eligible to land on the island. It was Kurozumi Semimaru who hurriedly explained, I'm really sorry for the inconvenience. 2v3 still won, which is really amazing. After all, those three are not ordinary people. However, Kurozumi Semimaru didn't know, and he was mistaken. It is 1v3. So, Linlin, are you going to accept the joint force of three people? Have the others survived? Kurozumi Semimaru was also silent. They can't control the 3 adults. It doesn't matter. Asa didn't care too much. It's always possible. Speaking of, in the Beehive Island that has been seen and heard, the people on the edge are now dizzy, but there are tens of thousands of people inside. Weird. I don't know if it's because of the distance or what, but it's still going well and it's very lively. Grown-ups. Hachinoke, the strong prey on the weak. In the process of walking in, you may encounter some obstacles and conflicts. Kurozumi Semimaru, after accompanying him for a while, suddenly his eyelids trembled while talking. How come so fast? He hasn't finished yet. Wow, ha 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 ha. The stronger you are, the more valuable your head is. The more treasure you have. Do it all. Also at this moment, on the deserted long streets around, guns popped up one after another, all entangled with hockey. Shoot out. Take a gamble. Not to mention people outside the Rocks group, let alone people in the group. Cannibalism is a common occurrence, and only those who survive can win the spoils of war. Get the treasure and become stronger. They have no fear, even if the opponent's strength is far different from their own. Call out. Bang bang bang. A hail of bullets shot down like crazy. But halfway through, Zeus, who was floating beside Linlin and Asa, reacted first. The electric arc scattered in a single lacing, causing them all to detonate in midair. Kurozumi Semimaru didn't relax, because after the shell detonated, a lot of poison escaped. There are many means. It can be said to be omnipotent. And it's 100 times more poisonous than normal. They have tried before. Even if it is absorbed by a giant beast with the shape of sea kings, it will be killed in an instant. You guys are early. Kurozumi Semimaru bit the bullet, activated the barrier fruit ability, and was about to block it. Sun Homets, Prometheus, take off. With a bang, he opened his mouth wide. Hoo-hoo, not even the sunstorm form. Just a few seconds. Then he compressed all these highly toxic gases, inhaled them into his mouth, and in the blink of an eye, they were all purified under the action of the gas ability. Ability purifies and compresses the surrounding gas. See this scene. Hiding in every corner, the eyes of the elite pirates wearing gas masks trembled. Immediately, throw dozens of flame bombs. Without hesitation, since you can't bite this piece of meat, just run away. In front, there are people. There are still people in front of you. Leave it to them. Seeing this, Kurozumi Semimaru also planned to bid farewell and find a chance to escape. His path was only here. He won't come out until Asa gets to the front. It's not that troublesome. Asa saw through his heart. Under Linlin's signal, Prometheus transformed his hands with elements and squeezed them hard. No empty world. Chapter 51. All of a sudden, massive amounts of oxygen were evacuated. The flying incendiary bombs extinguished the fire, and without the combustion support, they all lost their power. Not only that, the pirates who were about to escape from all corners suddenly stopped breathing, and happened to be running violently. The lungs didn't take much air, and now I can't catch my breath. I pinched my neck and felt extremely suffocated. It didn't take long. If it was serious, it would go into shock. Where's the air? I can't hear the sound. Where is my voice? Use the oxygen tank. ... This area becomes a vacuum. Several cadre-like pirates gestured to each other and quickly took out the oxygen tanks they had prepared. But just took it out. The mouth of the straw suddenly swelled, and with the strengthening of Prometheus' ability, the oxygen was pumped out of the bottle in reverse. When they met their nostrils, there was nothing at all. What a god. ... Too much. ... It can even take out the contents of the oxygen cylinder. What kind of monster is it? ... The intelligence didn't say, they have such ability. ... A few of the strongest cadres just suffocated and passed out. This is within 100 meters. And within a kilometer ahead, armed with knives and guns, the powerful pirates who have been arranged in various ways have not yet reacted. Also in a state of hypoxia. What happened? Empty. Where is the air? We haven't started yet, so we kill in the air. They originally thought that the Charlotte brothers and sisters, Conquerors, consumed a lot, and everyone controlled the distance, so they should be able to avoid being killed by clearing soldiers. Unexpectedly, there are other means. Oxygen, here I am. Prometheus grinned. After wandering around and smoking, the flames on his body suddenly rose, climbing to a faint blue color. The high temperature is shocking. speed up their suffocation, and when Prometheus smiles and releases it again, it will be poisonous gas. These pirates don't know. Thinking that there was gas, he began to absorb it crazily. Then, it's all over. Not long after, when it came back again, no one survived within a kilometer. Look around. There was almost no damage, and it was easy to finish if it consumed any fluctuations. Identical. All the wealth from raiding and killing pirates will also become ownerless. It depends on whether the winner wants it or not. Asa continued to walk, all the way smooth. The two of Kurozumi Semimaru swallowed and hurriedly followed. Until a huge door. Discover. There are dozens of murlocs holding sharp weapons, muscular to the point of explosion, and two giants holding thick swords, standing guard here. He stared at the person coming. Murlocs. Giants. There are so many tricks on the Hive Island. Now, not to mention Linlin frowned, even Asa felt impatient in his heart. He is not in the mood to accompany a little bit through the barriers. Do you have any coins? Asa glanced at the two of them. Although Kurozumi Semimaru didn't understand, she quickly took out a bunch and put them in the palms of her hands. Not to mention, it's golden and quite rich. Asa took one at random and put it in Zeus's cloud body until he took it out again. The electric fire is constantly flickering. Hockey is also circulated over it. Sometimes, it's not in the flow. There is no need to bring out those who can't get on the stage. Asa snapped her fingers, and the coin flew forward. The speed is so fast that even after images are gone. No, you misunderstood. Only then did Kurozumi Semimaru come to his senses, and hurriedly waved his hands. They're not. However, it was too late. The blue light has already drawn out, rolling up huge waves like a meteor, and bursting in. And before popping up, the Murloc guards and the giant guards sensed danger, especially the latter, and picked up their long swords from left to right. Take a strike pose. As an elite warrior from the giant family, he has been brutally washed by the Rocks Regiment. Their strength is so strong that they are close to the double captains of giant soldiers pirates Dory and Brokey. Bakong. With the cooperation of the two, a giant sword wave burst out. Boom. Even the stronger Vice Admiral couldn't resist this blow. Puff. Sizzling. But it's a pity that under the coin of the lightning magnet, it is easy to penetrate. After flying into the group quickly, thunder and lightning overflowed, guarding him instantly. Blinding their eyes, knocking them down. But that's just the beginning. After the electricity was finished, the coin continued to fly for several kilometers. Drink. This is the good wine I brought from my hometown. By the way, Akoku-sama. The Charlotte brothers and sisters should have just landed, and it will take some time to come over, so your previous battle, was it true as rumored? Or, did you fight Kong? Yes, please tell us. Quote. In the core area, on a sandy ground where many wine barrels were placed, a few sturdy pirates kept pouring down on the man in the center. They want to know the real situation that day. What Kong? That's bullshit. A rumor created by Marine. When you mention this, Lousy will get angry. As for the Charlotte brothers and sisters, we fought against them. They are indeed freaks. Akoku took a sip and strongly denied, but there is no such thing as absurd thing that Lousy was defeated without even looking at it. 1-on-1. Although Lousy will also lose. But it's absolutely impossible, as in those rumors, after one trick, I was scared and ran away. This Chu Lousy. The voice just fell. A ray of light came rushing from a distance, brushed his cheek directly, and drew a big bloody gash. Immediately, feeling the electric current rushing up his upper body, the familiar feeling of lightning strike, Akoku didn't even think about it, subconsciously wanted to teleport away. But as soon as he got up, he froze in place again. Boom. After skimming, wrap around Hockey's coin, hit a threshold, hit somewhere and explode. The huge waves formed can easily blow away the people around. Akoku has also been greatly affected. At this moment, he felt a slight tingling sensation, and glanced at the people around him. His eyes began to struggle. Who knew Asa would come in so soon? The guys on the periphery, don't they have a lot of means? That's it. Waste is waste. And he has just finished bragging, so flashing now, isn't it embarrassing? After hesitating for 3 seconds, Akoku still made a choice: run. Run to the core competitive battlefield. The currently selected reserve cadres are all inside. He is also one. Even though the Charlotte brothers and sisters have great abilities, they can't kill themselves after entering. As for, will this pair of brothers and sisters join the Hive Island? This is out of consideration. Because added, that can't kill him even more. Although the regiment allows cannibalism, it is allowed for miscellaneous soldiers, people below the third echelon. Indiscriminate killing among cadres. What are you thinking? Even if you can kill them, you must not kill them on the ground. In other words, as long as he stays in the center of the island, or in front of the rocks, that is absolutely safe. Wait, then, single quote. Asa, single quote. Ayakoku will wake up someday. Single quote. Give some more time, wait until the fruit's ability is stronger and awakened. Even if you can't kill you, you can't keep guarding the people around you. Single quote. Wait until you are unprepared. Single quote. I'll let you try to, the pain of loss. Single quote. After some inner drama, the hatred in Akoku's eyes grew stronger, and he slipped away. He's gone. A few pirates around me who were affected looked at this big pirate, so decisive that they didn't say a word, their mouths twitched. Sure enough, among pirates, there is no truth to speak of. Just a word of disagreement. Call out. The flicker sounded. A few people raised their brows, thinking that Akoku had returned, but when they looked back, they found that it was someone 10 times more handsome than Akoku. Regardless of body proportions, every aspect is a man who is almost perfect. So familiar. Yes, it's Charlotte Asa. No wonder Akoku runs so sloppy. They recognized it. Nearly. Asa felt a little pity. Cutting the weeds without removing the roots, the wind blows and regenerates, keeping Akoku, always a grudge, ahead. What is going on? He looked at the pirates and asked. Inside is. The scarred-faced pirate opened his mouth quickly, but in the next second, Asa nodded and stepped away. I see. Another mind-reading monster. Several pirates were at a loss, only one trembled slightly, remembering that he had met a man in red before. Like Asa, before anyone can speak, you will understand. There are more and more monsters. All the strongest come together. This is definitely something that has never happened in New World for 100 years. The overlord who can summon the monsters does not know what amazing things he will announce. The most core area, coconut trees, rocks, buildings, and landscapes are the most prosperous areas. Everything here is first class, and in the center, there is also an artificially carved skull-head rock. There are hundreds of kilometers high. Magnificent. Just below the square, but they are carrying out extremely cruel killings. Snatch. The quota is running out. Go away. To lousy. Only by becoming a reserve cadre. Can you challenge him and get those good things? Come on anyway, there are only island fruits left now. Mara fruit. And a supreme sharp knife 12 crafts. You are not afraid of death. Quote. Thousands of people are killing each other. This method is like raising GU. Just grab the token and keep it for 3 hours. You can become one of the reserve cadres. Similar to guarding, and the reserve cadres, but under the skull rock, except Rock's surprise, that is, to hold him alive with one move. Optional rewards. No matter which one it is a treasure enough to make people crazy if placed in the outside world. Rocks can come out generously. To be honest, just this kind of heart and arrogance can be ranked at the top of the sea. Say it again. Now there are the last 3 treasures left, put them on the table. After taking them, Rocks will announce a big event. However, because of something, I left temporarily. Of course, Rao is like this. Still no one dared to steal rewards, no matter how eager they were. That is, Charlotte brothers and sisters. Evil God Asa, it is rumored that the disappearance of Area Zero is related to him. They really came, so fast, they must also come to grab the token. It's going to be $2 less. Quote. There were 3 long-handed brothers, and when they saw the 2 walking towards them, they all backed away subconsciously. Don't dare to touch the mold. Not only them, as Asa and Linlin stepped forward, they all actively moved out of the way wherever they passed. Very strange. The pirates here are obviously stronger. But he is more sensible than the pirates on the periphery. Perhaps. Do you understand that it is not easy to get to this point? Perhaps, the 2 of them haven't touched their interests yet. Wow, elder brother, I didn't expect that. Beehive Island not only has murlocs and giants, but also other races. It's a pity that they don't get along at all. Linlin seemed to be traveling, not nervous at all. When passing a rabbit fur tribe, Ace's gaze stayed for a few seconds. Without it, the figure is too hot. The ears are up and down, making people want to pinch. Linlin's beautiful eyes lit up when she saw this, and she tugged at her ears, looking very curious. Don't touch me. The little rabbit was rather annoyed. The fist bee was surrounded by static electricity and began to scratch. But to Linlin, it wasn't even itchy at all, and later, because of carelessness, she tore off 2 of her rabbit ears. Ah, the rabbit was in pain, and its delicate face was distorted. This scene let the other races around retreat far away, with cold sweat on their foreheads. Ah, feel sorry. Linlin got up quickly, bid farewell to the fur tribe, and followed his brother. You didn't mean it, little sister. How can? Linlin was a little innocent. I won't deliberately bully her just because of my brother. I mean, if you did it on purpose. Ace's starry eyes flickered, and he added, then we must kill him, and the future troubles cannot be left behind. Just like Akoku. Since you make a move, you must be conscious. Come to me. Seeing the 2 brothers and sisters getting closer, a pirate holding a token was holding the token tightly. Sweaty palms. As the distance shortens, the tension grows. Just when he thought that Asa would attack him, he saw the 2 of them, ignored him and continued to walk forward. What happened? Single quote. The pirate was stunned. Aren't they because of tokens? Still haven't found that I have. Single quote. Soon, he understood. Because the Charlotte brothers and sisters in sight, after crossing the siege, came directly to the reserve cadre site and set their sights on Akoku. At the same time, below the Skull Rock, several guys with different sizes from ordinary people, sitting, standing, or lying down, also converged on Asa while their eyes moved slightly. One of them was even more excited to ultimate, with golden lion hair fluttering all over his head. Gia ha 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 ha. It's finally your turn, Charlotte Linlin. Charlotte Asa. The site here is very large and the terrain is relatively high. Compared with the surrounding area with more people, it is empty within a radius of 300 meters. No one dared to break through. Athanso was the first. All the others who approached were dead, even those holding tokens, except for Shaki and the others. The remaining, when challenging rocks, they couldn't hold on to one move, and all of them were killed. There are more than a dozen people. Weak. Actually not weak. All of them are big pirates with more than 600 million Baileys, and some of them have awakened conquerors. Conqueror's hockey is perfect. But still dead. It was all rocks throwaways, not serious at all. This is the same as Admiral Kazaru of Sabayati Island, like bullying a supernova. But even so, there are still a steady stream of pirates, lost in their minds by desire to challenge across the battle force. Like the future, every year, there are a group of weak chickens who don't believe in evil, to challenge the 4 emperors. There is no token, so go indirectly. Don't you know the rules? In this way, Whitebeard, Newgate, Golden Lion Shaki, they won't stand by. It's not a reserve cadre. Even if you kill him, it doesn't matter at all. Hey, don't talk nonsense. The 2 brothers and sisters are not good people. Look, the Golden Lion is about to attack. He just got 2 super famous knives, and his strength has greatly increased. He definitely wants to try his hand. Quote. Many of the pirates who were vying for the token in the distance stopped to see how things would develop. Mara fruit. Single quote. Island fruit. Single quote. And that handle, the supreme sword of 12 hands, is it Griffin? Single quote. As for Asa, the color of knowledge and knowledge accurately scanned these 3 items, and was covered by special materials to get 3 kinds of rewards. Prometheus on the side looked eager. Asa is not surprised. Logia's Mara fruit is indeed the most suitable for sun homeids. It can maximize its upper limit. 1000 degrees. Wandu. And even above. Keep breaking through. It is said that Mara fruit is not eaten by dogs. The reason for saying this. There are too many people who can play with fire. But think about it carefully, how many of them can really play well? They are all half-baked, adding a friction flame, with fire attributes. But Prometheus is different. Following the development of Ace's ideas, you will be able to go a long way, and with time, you will be able to reach unimaginable heights. Island fruit. Not to mention, Toto Land needs him just right. At last, the supreme sword. He came here to maximize the benefits, so naturally he would not let it go, and he would not let it go at all. Rocks. Anyway, there is a high probability that it will be snatched. Plus, there's Akoku. Gia ha 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 ha. Shiki threw up his hands. Sakura-ten and Muku held them together. Lousy remembered, you want to get rid of Akoku first, right? He glanced back and saw that Akoku had fled hundreds of meters away. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared from everyone's eyes. Escape is really number one. Shiki smiled dismissively. So, you fight Lousy first, no matter you win or lose, Lousy will not stop you. He had heard, Asa is top-notch in slashing, and even more so in Area Zero, becoming the shadow of Sabayade's marine. And, Shiki, who is a great swordsman with 2 swords, is naturally more eager to fight against such a person. Let's compete. The power of slashing. Asa's tone was calm. You bring Griffin, I can play with you. Shiki's face darkened. Asa. Otherwise, how can you play without a knife? Aren't you able to slash without using a knife? Rumor. Shiki's eyelids twitched. False information he received. It's not impossible. After all, Charlotte Asa, who is clearly a munch fruit capable, can use her physical body to unleash the power of a great swordsman. Is it possible? He suspected before that he entered a certain realm, or learned from a Wudao style. Now it seems that it is really a rumor. Shiki's interest dropped a little. The rest of the people looked at each other in blank dismay, but didn't say much. Second adults. At this moment, Kurozumi Higurashi rushed over quickly. Seeing Asa stepped into the line, his pace was faster. Master Asa, are you looking at the reward? Why, can't we take it? Linlin asked back. Prometheus, his eyes are still shining now. If there was no order, I'm afraid he would fly over and swallow it himself. Sure, Kurozumi Higurashi replied. But you need to get the token first, become a reserve cadre, and then take a blow from Captain Rocks to be eligible to choose one. This is the rule set by the captain. No one can violate it. Besides, the 2 of you want to attack Mr. Akoku, right? His tone was more tactful. In this way, it is even more necessary to become a preparation cadre. Otherwise, you may not be able to get out if you act rashly. Akoku is a reserve cadre. For an outsider, if you attack him on the island, you are attacking the entire Hive Island. What do you mean? Linlin frowned. Don't understand. You are outsiders. With double knives hanging from his waist and a wine bottle in hand, John smiled coldly. Look whose territory this is. You can't do anything to us, but we can kill you at will. Otherwise, they will attack in groups. Not to mention the mighty rocks. Just talk about their joint efforts. Can the Charlotte brothers and sisters stop it? When John said this, the other 4 super pirates didn't refute anything, as if they acquiesced. Their strength, it has been raised a wave. Just like Shiki who got 2 swords, they thought they could meet Admiral now. And once they work together, it will only be very scary. Linlin understood exactly this, so there was no recklessness, and I looked at my brother immediately. It's not difficult to take tokens. The hard part is going back and forth like this. Who knows if Rocks will come back halfway? When you come back, will you protect Akoku? These are all unknowns. Why do you think I will join Hive Island, join Rocks? In addition, accept Rocks. Even if all of you are here now, so what? Asa's answer made everyone present sneer. Asa is too lazy to practice much. Bragging. Of course not. If it is the future Whitebeard, Golden Lion, all the guys in front of us are in their heyday. Asa is not a fairy either. She is naturally arrogant, pick them all. But the key, they are not the peak. Even if you are in your 20s, everyone is older than you, so what? If you don't fight, who knows? Backing down will only lead to making progress. What's more, he sucked so many people, and it wasn't for nothing. Waiting for emergencies. Gia ha 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 ha. What a big tone. But Lousy likes it. Bring it on. Even if you are not a swordsman, Lousy still wants to see your skills. The Golden Lion laughed, glancing at Newgate. Seeing that he had just eaten the fruit but had no intention of making a move, he withdrew his eyes. Such a good prey, don't regret being snatched by lousy Newgate. Language fall. He rolled up a gust of wind and sand, and rushed towards him. When Shiki's double knives were about to swing down, Asa still didn't move. Clang! A burst of sound burst out. After a few seconds of stalemate, Shiki flew upside down for tens of meters before barely hovering. Crack! There were also some ice crystals on the knife body. With a slight shock, the ice shattered. A lot of power. When Shiki looked down, as expected, it was Ace's younger sister who blocked her just now. Elder brother. Linlin looked to his side with worry in his eyes. There are too many people this time, and they are all long-known super pirates, without knowing the specific abilities of the other party. When there was a conflict, all surrounded and beat one person. Then Admiral couldn't hold it. Brother's words. It's okay, you go. Asa reassured her. Help me stop one first, the others are enough to deal with. Linlin paused, nodded, grabbed Napoleon and jumped up. Zeus. Prometheus. Don't be lazy, go all out. Both release extremely strong elemental waves. Cooperate with Mom to launch an attack. Emperor Sword. Linlin wanted a quick fix. Only in this way can I come back to help my brother faster. Hello. Don't underestimate Lousy. The young Shiki swelled his arms, unleashed his armed colors, and slammed out a golden slash wave. Boom. The two fought farther and farther. Shiki was suppressed in terms of strength, and the tiger's mouth was also rapidly becoming numb. This strange power. After fighting for a while, with a low curse, Shiki distanced himself to fly the kite. It would be better to activate the fruit ability at the same time. You have to keep it safe. After Linlin left, Ace's smile gradually softened. Immediately, Yao Yao looked into the distance, his eyes penetrated everything, and locked on to one person. But next second, a 6-meter-tall silver figure decisively blocked Ace's vision. He wears a silver helmet, holds silver axe and silver shield. The two deep eyes make people feel cold just by looking at them. Charlotte Asa, it's not necessary. Akoku is probably gone now, it's impossible for you to catch him. Not to mention, the voice was husky. As long as we're here, you won't be able to get out of this circle at all. After all, he swung his long axe downward, the silver light shone, and a hole more than 10 meters long was cut in the ground. Gulu gulu. While drinking beer, John came to the other side, spit wine on the blade, and instantly ignited a raging flame. Just when he was about to say something, Asa spoke. Who said, you have to get out of this circle to catch him? In the puzzled eyes of several people, Asa reached out. The purple mist ignited on the palm, and the veins on the back of the hand emerged, and then the void pulled. Gas distortion, several kilometers away from the skull rock, Akoku appeared here. This distance, no problem. Silver axe, John. To make Lousy pay such a large price, he is willing to make a move. Wait, eat back sooner or later. Now, just wait for rocks to come back. Akoku fell, touched solid ground, took a step forward, and found himself taking a step backward. The body starts to move back. He also felt an attraction on his back, making him hang in the air uncontrollably. Snoring. What happened? The moment Akoku thought of it, before he could react in the future, he spun around for a while. The speed is getting faster and faster, whistling in the ear, blasting the blast. He tried to activate the ability, but found that his body was a little frozen, as if being bound by some kind of gravitational field. Suction places confinement. Forced to break open. It will take time, but by then the daylily will be cold. Soon, several people in the square saw a ray of light coming straight from the extension of Ace's palm. It was Akoku. Because the speed was too fast, the body was still rubbed with flames. A few mountains away from the suction force. Swallow, munch fruit, can you still use it like this? This trick, transformed from phagocytosis, is really similar. Universal pull. But other people don't know that this method of sucking people through the air is unheard of. Only fruit development can barely explain. Call out. Just as Akoku fell towards Asa, a line of blood protruded from below, turning into a blood shadow and covering him. Like a handful of rubbish. This is also the case, the speed is greatly slowed down. Kurozumi Semimaru. Do it. Akoku clenched his teeth, and took advantage of the situation to yell, if you watch me die, you are also responsible. Don't you want a life-saving fruit similar to Yamada no Orochi? I promise. How about Nine-Tails Fox, a phantom beast? I know where to hide. I can get it for you. When his life was in danger, he screamed at a very short speed. As for the fruit, because of Akoku's teleportation ability, he almost wants to go wherever he wants to go, so he has collected a lot of information about cherished fruits. Same. Faced with such attractive conditions, or rather urgently needed conditions, it is impossible for Kurozumi Semimaru to sit idly by. Actually, Asa had the Yamada no Orochi fruit, but Semimaru didn't know about it, so he chose another way. Dead end. When Asa looked around, Kurozumi Semimaru had slipped away and came under Akoku, hands folded, the area weaving into an invisible blanket. Protection. The moment you cover Akoku, the suction partitions disappear. As soon as Akoku fell, the blood shadow also left him, turning into a noble and elegant shadow. Landing on Akoku's side. Thanks to you, Redfield. Akoku gasped, expressing his thanks. I'll take the shot, click as far as I can. Redfield held the umbrella in both hands and inserted it down. Next, unless I'm interested, don't expect me to help you too much. Kurozumi Semimaru. Akoku looked back. I promise you, I will do it. Hearing this, Kurozumi Semimaru sat cross-legged on the ground, continuing to maintain the cross gesture. Your Excellency Asa. He looked at Asa, and even changed his title, unceremoniously. I hope you can understand, Lord Akoku cannot die. The trembling before seemed to be all an act. Although he was surprised, as a person with barrier fruit ability, he has the capital not to be afraid of anyone. I understand. Asa smiled, slightly bent one finger, flicked, and flew out with finger pistol. Boom. However, the moment the protective cover was installed, there was no ripple, causing no damage at all. I'm afraid this blow can penetrate steel, right? Pity. His shield is harder than diamonds. It can prevent everything in the world. So it's useless. In the Hive Island, Charlotte Asa, you can't kill me no matter what. Akoku pressed one hand on Kurozumi Semimaru's shoulder, feeling extremely comfortable. He wanted to see Asa's expression, preferably a deflated one, but unfortunately, it remained the same. Clean around Poseidon. It's the lonely red Redfield. It is said that people born with knowledge can see through people's hearts. As the brother who is so knowledgeable enough to be upgraded, can you even invite this? And Kurozumi Semimaru. Quote. The pirates in the distance were a little unbelievable. Akoku couldn't see it in the past, but at the critical moment, the truth came. Money can turn ghosts around, this saying seems to be true. Now, inside the shield, Akoku, Kurozumi Semimaru, Redfield. Outside the shield, Silver Axe, John, Whitebeard. A total of 6 people. Besides, Charlotte Asa, you said so. One person wants to fight against all of us. Although Newgate can't shout, the others have gathered for you. Out of 5 people, do you know what I'm best at? With a passport, Akoku's courage is like Kurozumi Orochi, it's not about fighting. It's about ability. My ability is the strongest auxiliary fruit of Paramesha. The combination is powerful, you have to see it carefully, it will shock your jaw. Yeah, Asa listened quietly, and immediately, after stretching out 3 fingers, put them back into her pocket. It seems that I am too lazy to say a word. You continue to be arrogant. Akoku snorted coldly, and immediately looked at the lazy drinking man, John. I will find a chance to get you the Maramara fruit. After all, as a supporting reserve cadre, Rox sent me a treasure. He won't blame me, and you have to go all out. When he heard Maramara fruit, John's drinking speed slowed down. He hasn't accepted Rox trick yet, so he can't get the fruit. Akoku has an additional condition. If he is willing to give it, it will be the best. Ah ha ha. If that's the case, I can finish him alone. John brandished the twin knives of fire. It was like juggling, but no one underestimated those present. Do it. Akoku looked at the tall man in the silver helmet through the barrier. There is also Silver Axe. We talked about it before. Before the Hive Island event started, Akoku gathered a few people and had a good chat. The Silver Axe at the time just finished the warm-up training, holding a mountain peak in each of the left and right hands, and threw it out of the island. Yes, Silver Axe, Paramesha Lily Fruit ability user. Natural supernatural power, Coupled with eating the fruit of power in youth, in terms of brute force, there is no opponent at all. It is also the same. Akoku took a fancy to him and wanted more guarantees, so he agreed to one of his requests. So, to deal with Charlotte Asa, who is known as the Twin Star. Kurozumi Semimaru, you're always next to rocks. Silver Axe is not brainless. First he asked the Pippa mage beside him, how much do you think the pure strength of me now is compared to his? If it's higher, let's say 50%. Do ho ho. I didn't expect to underestimate me so much, but 5 floors are enough. Silver Axe looked at Akoku again. Asa, since you have exaggerated his height, then let's take a good look at how I can suppress him with pure strength. Silver Axe also returned to his senses, with a grin in his armor. Not to mention anything else, in terms of strength, I have never lost. With a wave of Akoku's hand inside the shield. When Silver Axe reappeared, it was already above Asa. Whoop! Silver light flashed. Step on your lower body. The huge force was released, causing the whole square to tremble slightly, and the ground fissure was even more open for a distance of 100 meters. When the smoke clears, there was no one under Silver Axe's feet, but he wasn't discouraged in the slightest. Because Asa dodges, it proves that you dare not confront yourself head-on. Strength is not as good as him. And the next action will further verify Silver Axe's conjecture. Really, he felt that he had hit it several times, but after the smoke cleared, Asa was intact. If it is blocked by the flesh, then the corner of the clothes must be torn, right? It's not Logia after all. So obviously, Asa dodged the attack. It's just that the speed is too fast, giving people the illusion that they are not moving. Well hit once. What will happen to Charlotte Asa? Thinking about it this way, the Silver Axe became fiercer and fiercer, and the strongest blow even flattened the top of the mountain. It caused the inner and outer pirates to exclaim. It's Silver Axe who made the shot. It's worthy of being called the King of Power. That's a big mountain. It's gone easily. It's even more exaggerated. I heard that he once wiped out a country with one axe. Charlotte Asa, are you afraid to accept the move? Conquerors and other aspects are strong. Pure power dare not fight recklessly. Quote. They chatted in full swing, and the movement in the square was not bad. And Silver Axe, strength is strong, but speed is shortboard. But with the help of Akoku's teleport it just makes up for it. The whole battle process, Asa missed him once. In fact, Asa didn't make much of a move. But Silver Axe didn't think so. He felt that this guy was powerless to fight back. During this period, John also went up. He is called the Fire Wine Emperor and he can use specially prepared alcohol to spew out strong flames. Every move is no less than other fire-attributed fruits. Even not so long ago, he also killed a person with a hot fruit ability. Plus, special sword skill, burning salary. Burn your vitality whenever necessary, and your strength is soaring. The strength is not inferior to Silver Axe. Upper left, bottom right, 90-degree angle to the side. The red Earl inside the protective cover, both sides pressed on the handle of the umbrella, providing directions one by one with the color of knowledge and knowledge. Accurate every time. Asa's every move, step by step, was first predicted by him. In this way, the two people outside, with the help of Akoku's teleportation, can precisely avoid it. Pigeon ha ha ha. Redfield, his knowledge is actually not as good as yours. No, it should be that you are too strong. Akoku gradually became excited, and fortunately Shiki lured away Charlotte Linlin, hit him by mistake, and left Asa to fight alone. Otherwise, it will be uncomfortable to be furious again. Also, even if Asa uses that intensive slash again, it doesn't matter, as long as he teleports Silver Axe into the shield, everything will be fine. It can also consume its physical strength to the maximum extent. Perfect, it seems. Here's a chance to kill you before the rocks come back. Suddenly, Akoku's heart skipped a beat. He came up with an idea that would distract Asa, get hit, and speed up his defeat. Charlotte Asa. World, the green pepper of the cone, they can die in your hands, it seems that they are all trash. In addition to the previous flat A, Silver Axe charged and opened a big. The axe flashed, the air was torn apart, and traces of silver lightning were ignited. Force explosion. Whereabouts? Just in the nick of time. The huge figure of Silver Axe disappeared, replaced by Shiki, who just swung his two knives in a bit of astonishment. Just fighting Charlotte Linlin in the distance. What happened? However, the golden slash wave that was shot can no longer be recovered. Silver Axe flashed to an altitude of 600 meters, holding an axe in both hands, and slashed at Linlin fiercely. Power fruit. Launch. Call out. Boom. An axe and a sword collide. There was a burst of madness in the air. Flames and thunder were intertwined. Because it was too abrupt, Linlin hurriedly swung the sword, and the charged Silver Axe was charged. Straight down with one blow. Fall into the mountains. Seemingly invincible. Aligned. Teleportation is a divine skill. Oh, they shouldn't have killed Akoku. No matter how strong a person is, it will be aggrieved to encounter this. Charlotte Linlin claims to be born with strange power, but facing Silver Axe's divine power, isn't she inferior? Quote. Looking at this powerful blow, the pirates clicked their tongues. If it falls to them, a lot of people will definitely die. At the same time, after the golden slash wave, Asa glanced in Linlin's direction, and a crisp sound sounded in her heart. Elder brother, it's okay here. That fool, I'll kill him first. After Linlin lay down for a few seconds, he shot straight into the sky like a cannonball, and 3,000 fans burst into flames. Silver Axe. The strength is indeed not bad. It made her feel the pain she hadn't seen for a long time. Goodbye. If your brother dies, I can take care of you for him, do ho 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 ho. As Linlin approached, Silver Axe disappeared laughing maniacally, and Shiki followed. This exchange, as well as what he said, made Linlin's killing intent rise to ultimate. This sound, it was Shiki who shouted, he used hockey, and he won't be transferred for the third time. Wait for lousy. As soon as Charlotte Linlin is dealt with, I'll come and kill you all. The scene became more and more anxious and developed in the direction of chaos. Take care of it. Asa looked towards Linlin, seemingly distracted for a moment. 3 kilometers away. A man is crawling here. Known as the White Shinigami, he is capable of hitting every single shot and is also capable of slowness fruit. The target object will be the latest record. Language fall. Metal trigger pull. The peach-colored light waves condense into lasers and shoot out, and are pulled by inexplicable forces to span space. 0 mistakes through Asa. Ahahaha. Do you feel that your actions have slowed down? You have been recruited. Asa is right ahead. A high-pitched smile sounded, and I saw John spit into the palm of his hand, wrapped around hockey, and the flame turned into thick uzumaki. An elegant, dazzled on Asa's head. Clatter. Thick flames of tens of meters exploded from his head. The flames dissipated and the black smoke surrounded. It's not over yet. Let you see and see. Heartfire sword flow. Whale howl. John drew another knife with his free hand, alcohol plus sword skills plus hockey. Posted in the sky 3 meters away from Asa. Cut down hard. Yin, clang ho. The 2 fire whales condensed into one, opened their mouths to devour Asa, and then swept one by one, scraping the rock face and rolling out. 100 meters, 300 meters, 800 meters. It even involved 1,600 meters. Wherever it passes, the mountains and rocks are destroyed. Countless innocent pirates died before they screamed in the flames. After John succeeded with one move, Silver Axe also seized the opportunity, and the white lightning struck out horizontally. Across Asa, 3 hilltops were cut. Although I can't see it, but if I think about it, it must be cut off in the middle. You killed him. Inside the protective cover, Kurozumi Semimaru suddenly opened his eyes, slightly startled. On the side, Redfield also restrained his knowledge. As for why, naturally, the breath of life dissipated, and no one survived in the thick smoke ahead. He couldn't find it. This can't go wrong. Pigeon ha 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 ha. What is the relationship? Akoku breathed a sigh of relief. Kill his sister again, and when the time comes, I will get back the things, and I will share more with you. Silver Axe and John looked at each other and sneered. The former carried the giant axe. John flicked his sleeves, turned around slowly, and made a gesture to drink. This combination, it's more than enough to deal with Marshal Marine, let alone him. Rumors, dailies, news. Information industry. After all, it still needs to be incinerated and rectified. It's not true at all. He was interrupted halfway through his speech. You. In the thick fog behind, footsteps sounded. It's still a bit interesting. So I gave it a chance. 3 minutes. But only to this extent in the end, the so-called grand event of the rocks can come to an end. Within the shield, Redfield's eyelids twitched, his sense of knowledge was released, but the strange thing is. In front, still can't catch the breath. What happened? Have you made a mistake in your own experience? No, other people's breath and sound are still clearly detected. He fell into self-doubt. Hula, outside world. When the fog dissipates, on the half-red and half-black ground, a thick melt formed due to super high heat appeared. With a wave of hand, gas dissipates. Asa appeared unscathed. You. Silver Axe opened his eyes in the armor. What's going on? I missed it again. Wrong. John turned his head sharply, gripping the twin knives of fire tightly. This time it was clearly hit. Slow light. Predict future. Teleport assist. 1 axe and 1 sword. Under these surroundings, everything is solid, and it is impossible for there to be any mistakes. How do you know? It must have hit. Asa stepped out of the scorched land. Let's go together this time. Without hesitation. Silver Axe John's eyes were fixed, and the space around him surged, coming to Ace's front and back. Exactly the same as before. The twin swords of fire. The silver axe. But this time, at a distance of 1 meter away from Asa, they all hovered without warning. Like, there is an invisible hand of God, holding it. No matter how hard you try, you won't be able to go down half a point. I can see everything clearly. The two of them both maintained their slashing and slashing postures strangely, hovering in midair. Never hit Asa. All impacts will be squeezed and dispersed at a certain distance. You. Hockey playing outside. It's not. Hockey will dissipate, and it's more of an impact. John was not calm. Is it something like a shield? You haven't seen it yet. Asa gave a rare explanation. It's repulsion. After all, he stretched out his hand to press on the void. John's double knives began to twist, and he himself uncontrollably flew towards the direction of the palm. If you don't do this. In fact, it is very similar to no lower limit art. You and I are always at a distance, can be infinitely compressed, but just can't be touched. Gap between molecules. Certainly, the repulsion is different. John understood the power of repulsion. Silver Axe on the other side also understood, but he still didn't believe in evil. What about repulsion? Although I don't know how you have this ability. But the power of ultimate can break everything. Your rejection, after all, has an upper limit. Silver Axe began to explode, and massive stamina turned into fruit ability and hockey, gathered in the axe. The air twisted, and the giant axe began to move down. The strength has reached an unprecedented state. Give him a C, maybe he can split it open. Fall. A growl. Don't say. It's really increased a lot out of thin air, but the moment it touches the flesh, it's about to cut Asa. But a cloud of purple-black mist came out. Immediately afterwards. Under the engulfment of the black mist, half of the giant axe disappeared directly, embedded into Asa, as if entering a certain space. Also accompanied by indescribable suction. Silver Axe pupil miniaturization. The turbulent power froze in a hurry, trying to pull out the axe, only to find that it couldn't be thrown back at all. Seeing that I have to follow in, he had to let go. That's it. The axe worth 100 million Baileys just disappeared. Silver Axe also reacted quickly, increased his strength, stepped on both feet, and then suddenly retreated 1 meter. But in a blink of an eye, it was pulled by the black mist again. It was Akoku who reacted and teleported him away, otherwise it would be dangerous. Don't you say it's by repulsion. Eliminate our shock and attack. What's going on? You lied to us. You don't even. Silver Axe regained his senses and took a step back, as if looking at a monster. It's not by repulsion. What are you covering up, Charlotte Asa? Such a grotesque scene. John was also completely stunned, and hurriedly jumped out tens of meters and retreated to a safe distance. Cover up. Which adult have you ever met will be serious about children? Asa's gaze remained calm, but sometimes, it is indeed annoying to face children who are scratching and scratching. This gesture takes a long time. It makes people think that I am on the same level as you. Asa loosened her clothes, and her figure swelled up. Life returned. Life release. Release the original strength, and this is also the case. his muscles began to be clearly defined, and his aura was visible to the naked eye. I see that you like to step on it. It's your first time to step on your feet, right? He was the first to look at Silver Axe, his words fell, and only afterimages remained on the spot. Boom. Silver Axe heard a sonic boom, came back to his senses again, and found himself surrounded by a black shadow. Look up. There is a leather boot on the top that is getting bigger and bigger. Redfield. Akoku swallowed his saliva and asked, has your knowledge been predicted? Charlotte Asa, where is he? Have no idea. Redfield's face was extremely ugly. Don't say prejudgment. It doesn't even work to predict the future, even if it runs to ultimate, it's overloaded. Still empty. I can't even feel the fart. No sound, no breath. Asa is a transparent person at all. To be honest, this is the first time he has encountered such a thing. Could it be? Single quote. Have you reached that realm? Single quote. He remembered knowledge kill. This is a special move against hockey. The principle is to prevent the future from being predicted by the color of knowledge by controlling one's own breath. But there is another way of saying. It's the Conqueror's, suppressing other knowledgeable prying eyes. Does it really exist, this realm? Single quote. A trace of sweat dripped from his forehead. Then, doesn't this mean that Tien restrained himself? Although Akoku didn't read his mind, he could see it, can't sense him. When you went to the castle before, you said that you are famous, it is not worth mentioning. As a result, you can't perceive others. Don't even say. Redfield himself, at the moment, had burning pain on his face. Over there, Kurozumi Semimaru's sudden sighs. Follow the sound. Akoku saw a phantom. It's Asa. This guy, he definitely can't move it away, so he can only move Silver Axe first. After all, the purple-black mist is too weird. If you are not careful, you may be hit. Akoku's ability activation. But immediately, what he didn't expect was, Asa didn't use swallow at all, but used pure strength to step on Silver Axe. See this. Akoku doesn't know what to say. Shouldn't he use his own advantage, something that is unexpected, to confront the enemy? What do you mean by using your feet? Boom. Silver Axe aloft. In Asa's released state, even the speed of stepping down caused an explosion. Light up a raging fire. At the same time, it is also entangled with the red glow, and I don't know if it has used Conqueror's entanglement. Foot. Only one. Don't underestimate people. The power of Lousy has never been afraid of anyone. Silver Axe lifted both arms up violently, and the armed color entangled and surged violently. The giant shield rushes up. With that devouring power, he has to avoid it. But compare. In a few years he even has the confidence to challenge the rocks. Crack. However, the moment Asa stepped on it, the giant shield shattered instantly, and within 0.1 second, all of them were turned into dust. Squeal. Puff. There was a deafening clang. Silver Axe's complexion changed wildly, and his arms, which were thicker than stone pillars, were directly fractured by the huge force. Immediately under the invasion of Asa's massive hockey, the whole body was hit hard. More than 200 bones burst into each other. Pierce the skin and mucous membranes. Internal organs. Smash it clean. The fruit of strength plus natural divine power is not worth mentioning in front of this. It was directly crushed clean. Boom. The sound resounded throughout the entire Hive Island. The square is all shattered. Not only that, it even extended for a kilometer, and in that huge crack, countless pirates fell. Below the reverse Asa, the Silver Axe is also gone. Just like the first time Silver Axe was dispatched and stepped on Asa, no one could be seen when it was over. Inexplicable. Some symmetry. It's done. Inside the shield, Akoku teleports back to Silver Axe with full force. But when he saw what appeared in front of him, a pool of lifeless rotten meat, the cold air rushed straight to the sky. He, subconsciously backsliding, his back slammed into the shield, and he didn't recover. What the hell? Is it the Silver Axe who is so powerful that he can throw ships and move mountains? No matter how outrageous, there must always be a limit. Where does he have physical strength? Not a phantom beast. Just pure talent. Slow. Redfield took a deep breath. You transferred back a dead person. Everyone can see the power of Silver Axe. Just now, Charlotte Linlin, known for her strange power, was also blasted to the ground by one of his moves. Shiki has tried so many tricks, but nothing has been achieved yet. Although Silver Axe took it by surprise, but it still can't erase the fact that he has supernatural power. But now, Linlin's older brother Asa smashed the alloy armor with just one kick. His flesh and blood were bloody, and his brains were muddy. Die directly. Kurozumi Semimaru trembled slightly. Some can't sit still. The death of Silver Axe naturally had a great impact on him, and his previous actions naturally annoyed Asa. Unlikely, there is room for maneuver. The more expressive Asa is now, the more uneasy he will naturally be. Fine. The only fortunate thing is that there is no special ability that can break the barrier. Outside world. See this scene. John couldn't stop going backwards. He still remembers the guy Silver Axe, who said in front of Sister Asa, "After killing your brother, I will take care of you for him." Single quote. Now think about it, it's so good. Without it. Reverse scale was touched. If you don't die, who will die? For example, if he said this sentence, he must die first. So next, me. Single quote. Facing unprecedented sense of crisis. John suddenly thought of something. He touched the one in his arms, an orange-yellow pineapple shaped like fire. It is Mara Mara fruit. Just now everyone thought Asa was dead, so Akoku immediately put the fruit in his arms. I didn't expect a big reversal. Silver Axes. Is that guy dead? And it's so straightforward. After the shaking sound disappeared, Newgate, who had no sense of presence, suddenly raised his brows slightly. Shiki and Linlin also stopped their movements and looked towards Asa. Linlin is excited. Snort. Did you see? This is my brother. Reserve cadres. What about the reserve cadres? Many other pirates were dumbfounded. Clatter. There is a sound of stomping. Asa crossed the pothole and was walking towards John step by step. If you work together, you can kill even Marshal Admiral. Do not come. Feeling the breath of death, John seemed to have dark eyes, but he was actually terrified. After taking 2 steps back, he gritted his teeth and ate the Mara Mara fruit. Endure the nausea. Immediately, I felt the magical power pouring into my limbs, and every cell in my body was filled with extremely active flame factors. John grinned. For him, this fruit must be eaten no matter what, because it suits him so well. The strength can almost rise in a straight line. No one desires it more than him. To this end, even if you risk your life. Of course, it's best not to take risks. Akoku that fool. Why don't you transfer me away? Single quote. Didn't you see the situation? Are you going to let me deal with it alone? Single quote. After a few seconds, there was no movement. His figure gradually stiffened, and beads of sweat overflowed from his forehead. Then he glanced back and signaled Akoku to hurry up and stop the ink. This glance, but I found that Akoku's hand was hanging in the air, and he could activate his ability with a slight movement, but he just didn't move. Wrong. His eyes were strange, staring straight ahead. You can try. Asa's tone was very flat. In this 0.5 second, it's faster for you to move him away, or it's faster for me to kill him. Are you scared by him now? Idiot. John's eyes were tearing apart, even though he said that, but his heart was also beating a little. What to do? Munch fruit, suspected of emitting purple mist, swallowing things. But it must be the same as repulsion with a limit. If he burns Charlotte Asa with a huge amount of flame, fill her belly. When you let him swallow everything, will it hurt his real body, that is, his physical body? John's brain is spinning fast. At the same time, the fruit is also completely digested, and flames overflow from every pore, and in a short while, a thick fire is ignited. The momentum quickly changed. You wanted Mara Mara fruit before, too, right? It doesn't matter. Asa waved her hand lightly, expressing her indifference. Anyway, it's in your stomach, so you can't escape. What you up to? John bit the bullet and said. The victory won't be until the last moment, but it's still uncertain, Charlotte Asa. Very good. Asa chuckled all her life. In this way, while there is still some time, I won't use other powers. Only use the tricks you are best at. How about it? The stronger John is, and the better his fighting condition will be, the greater the benefits he will get. As for whether it will be out of control and an accident will happen. As a gourmet, part-time cook, how could he allow the food on the dinner plate to jump out and bite himself? Huh, are you sure? John opened his eyes wide, feeling that he had picked up a big deal. Here, all the pirates are listening. Don't go back on your word. What a contemptuous gesture. Or do these powerhouses have any serious illnesses or special hobbies? What he is good at, of course, is fire. Asa wants to play with fire too. Can he play? John couldn't believe it. It's not about competing with Silver Axe. Everyone can control power, but fire is different. It doesn't matter, you are weak anyway. Asa said. In the color of knowledge and knowledge, I have already felt an indescribable breath. Not surprisingly, it is rocks. The distance is less than a minute. Until then, quick fixes. As for the current trick, it is the first time to use it. You can take the rest of them and try. Call. Asa reaches out, made an action that made everyone present unexpected. Howl out. The direction of the hand, grab the void. 3 kilometers away from the mountain peak, a man holding a sniper rifle and trying to escape immediately left the ground and flew from the air. Just like Akoku before, but different. This person, no one felt it before. That's White Shinigami. In the beginning, he was sniping. Before the pirates could finish speaking, the man walked up to Asa, and the suction immediately turned into a strong repulsion. Puff. Make this White Shinigami bloody. Then take a breath. The invisible wave spun and entered into his Ziwu spinning palm. Slow fruit. Harvest +1. That is to say, IWC stock +1. In Asa's view, this fruit, even if you can't use it temporarily, you can't control it in the hands of others. What's more, if you play well, it is indeed dangerous. After Asa solved it casually. Compared to this side, more people are looking at another place, another person. Charlotte Asa, I'm not like them, you will regret it. John touched his fist first, and then let go. Incarnate fire tornado. Passed over the protective shield where Akoku was, and flew to an altitude of 100 meters, the eyes of the people in the next town, the inner and outer circles, all gathered together. Not waiting for a response. A thick hair came out of John's body, and opened a huge insect mouth. This is a feeding insect that ate bags of fruit. The interior is dark and has a different space. John. I took out bottle after bottle of wine from it, and set myself on fire. Crazy can opening. Drink it. Then use a special secret method to ignite the heart fire and consume 10 years worth of vitality. Then use the Mara fruit with all your strength. Beyond lava, temperatures have reached unprecedented levels. Hula. The flames contributed by each cell flowed out from his twin knives, finally intersecting and converging in the sky. A thick alcohol fireball was formed. It's just like a big day. Even light. It has already overshadowed the sun in the sky, and it has reached the level where everyone can't open their eyes. If you look directly, you will be blinded. At this moment, John has raised 240,000 in real time, more than almost everyone present. Boom. Within a kilometer, the waves of fire are rolling. Those within the range are all fleeing like crazy. Slightly closer, even if the pirates at the level of Million Bailey have mastered hockey, they still let out screams. They start to ignite spontaneously. The power is terrifying. Water, where is the water? The ground is starting to melt. Trees, houses, they're starting to burn. Run. At this level, even steel can be easily incinerated. Is he crazy? It will take everyone on the island. John, Emperor of Fire and Wine, is this his full strength? Not only them. Even Newgate and Shiki felt extremely tormented by the heat and kept flashing back. That rascal. It is often at the expense of lifespan in exchange for increased flames, but usually it is calculated in units of days. This time, how much did you add? Newgate retreated to a mountain peak, sweat dripped from his forehead, and he smiled lowly, "Gu la 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 la. It seems that I have risked my life and tried everything. Ask. Let a guy who is already popular as a grandmaster eat Mara fruit and burn all his strength, how strong will he be? Who knows? Gia ha 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 ha. The state at this moment, regardless of the past or the future, is that John is the strongest kid in his life. Shiki also flew a long way before he dared to hover. Charlotte Asa, what should I do? Eye movement. When he searched again, he found Asa standing on the top of the skeleton rock. Look at each other from a distance. In there, what happened? Outside the Hive Island, on the sunk marine battleships, the surviving Marines can even feel the super hot wind that followed. They lifted their eyelids feebly. With just one glance, I was almost stabbed blind. Interesting. High in the distance, a man with straight hair like a Saiyan and a height of 3 to 4 meters grinned. He is the owner of Beehive Island, Rox. At this moment, Rox was filled with a palpitating aura all over his body. Holding a burly man with one hand, the blood-stained cloak of justice hangs weakly. I don't know what kind of heavy blow I experienced. Yes, did you eat the Mara fruit before Lousy passed by? See the high-altitude fireball inside the Hive Island. Like a meteorite formed. Rox, eyes became brighter and brighter. Instead of being surprised, he was delighted. Ha 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 ha. It's unusual. The new reserve cadres can actually have such strength, and they are still improving Admiral's full blow. It's nothing more than that. He glanced at the man he was pinching, and then closed his eyes with a fanatical expression. Even if it is for a short period of time, the strength gained by losing life. Still great. Such a talent. The potential must be very high. Very good. He rocks. That's what he wants. That's why this event is held. As for the threat, ambition, it doesn't matter. He can tolerate everyone, be it the wicked or the good. He is strong enough. In an instant, his speed began to soar, and as he approached, another uncontrollable thought arose. Etc. Single quote. Can he be forced to such a degree? Who is his opponent's target? Several people. Rox gradually opened his eyes wide. Could it be another surprise? It's a person, and his breath. It's interesting, it's so interesting, and he actually controls the knowledge kill. He's getting short of breath. No, be the first to rush to stop it. Otherwise it will be his loss. Hive Island, Skeleton Rock Dome. Asa a draw. The purple mist flowed like a flame, and another hand reached out, calling Prometheus in the distance. Ya, Master Asa. Prometheus, at this moment, is somewhat suppressed. His temperature is so high. Maybe. Just as an introduction, what are you afraid of? And you are the sun. Asa turned it into a cloud of the sun, and immediately crushed it. A billowing purple-black mist poured in. Field, immediately, and pour your own soul power into it. Very massive. Prometheus also quieted down, allowing Asa to reorganize and instill, and the surrounding particle groups became active. His breath is also becoming weird. What are you doing? John was a little restless. As the fruit you ate, Paramesha, munch fruit. Is it fire? People who felt incomprehensible before are silent now. Really competed with Silver Axe in strength, compared with John in fire. I love good food. Occasionally I will cook myself, so I can control the heat. Is there anything wrong? Asa's palms merged and opened again, as if a sea of fire was boiling inside. Put your posture together. Now, let's have a firepower duel. John said no more. Concentrate on taking out his lifelong skills, quickly compress the great fireball, and immediately condense the flame-spinning top. As he turns, the surrounding fire crazily absorbed, and gradually, it formed a sharp blade of fire with the spinning top. Call, breaking through the 1,000-degree threshold. The color of the flame began to change drastically, reaching tens of thousands, or even higher. The waves spread out. Asa clapped his palms together and then pulled. His left hand was a crossbow, and his right hand drew a thick purple fire. Pull back, with Prometheus as the carrier, at the same time with the soul and massive memory, accompanied by more power, it began to burn violently. Next second, both hands are shot at the same moment. Big Wine Emperor Yan. John pushed his palm forward, and the fire blade shot out. Wherever it passes, everything is distorted. Asa also let go of the fire crossbow. In an instant, Yuzi and Lu Kui collided together. Showdown of fire. Setsuna Youth. The clearest sense and perception is the protective barrier between the two of them. People inside. Even though I wrapped myself in hockey, I was still sweating profusely, and even started to suffer from extreme hypoxia, which was extremely uncomfortable. Kurozumi Semimaru. Isn't your shield able to insulate heat? Why is the heat wave still coming in? Akoku was sweating profusely, grinning. It's hard to imagine how hot the outside world is. Can you stop it? Redfield's bloody eyes swept up into the sky, and he was also palpitating. If it's not possible. Can. Kurozumi Semimaru, who has always been confident, hesitated, and immediately, his hands were clasped even tighter. Boom. Collision from above. It was originally thought that there would be strong fluctuations and heat waves sweeping through the shield, but what was unexpected was the fire crossbow pierced through the space and directly devoured the fire blade. Easily. The lacing hit John, and in a burst of astonishment, the green fire on him was replaced by purple. The burning is more intense. John's pupils also lost their color in an instant. My fire, how is it possible? Climb to ultimate breath, then fall. After the thought stagnated for a while, the whole person twisted and screamed unconsciously in midair. It started to ignite spontaneously. Tear up trash. This makes outsiders look, how tragic and tragic. So, easily. Quote, that's all. John, Logia Mera Mera fruit ability user, was burned alive. What is this, worse? Outsiders only know, because what they saw was this scene. But the real situation. In fact, it is physical and spiritual, dual burner. Podgy. Boom. Before the three people below were astonished, John's half-burnt body fell straight onto the shield. John, how the hell was he burned to death? Newgate and Shaki in the distance were shocked. Asa, really use John's best move, beat him. Things really always develop towards an unexpected ending. And the reason it's the ending. Because the rest of Akoku, Kurozumi Semimaru, Redfield should be safe. Boom. With John's death, a series of black thunders came. Here comes the rocks. Conqueror's hockey sweeping the island. The entire Hive Island felt a familiar sense of dominance. Some were shocked, some were terrified, and some were deeply relieved. For example, Kurozumi Semimaru. No matter how strong Asa is. No chance, time to call it a day. You're running out of time, Charlotte Asa. Who said that? A cold voice sounded from the minds of the three of them. Even if it's less than a second, it's enough. Cut the weeds and eradicate the roots, Asa will not leave troubles. Even if you have time, can you beat the clock and break through it? Akoku shouted forcefully, but when it came to this, he was the first to feel unconfident, and looked to his side. Hey, no, his strength can't really break through it. Trust the barrier technique. Blocking the truth makes it impossible for others to get close to it. No matter how powerful a person is, it is meaningless. The rocks came. Kurozumi Semimaru felt that it was okay again, and looked up. Your Excellency Asa, I think, let's sit down and talk about peace next. His shield. It can even be said to be a domain. In theory, it can isolate all physical areas. Emperor Sword Broken Blade Extreme Cold. Sudden. Kurozumi Semimaru was halfway through. Linlin flew over on Zeus, entwined with ice and lightning homets, relying on the sword energy, he slashed down fiercely. Clang. Jin Ming resounded for 1,000 meters. Akoku was also taken aback, but waited for the ice crystals and thunder to disperse. But it was just ripples. One must know that if this blow hit Shiki's body instead, if he was hit hard, half of his life would probably be gone. 360. But this barrier protected it. It's really troublesome, harder than a diamond. Linlin can't do it with one blow. I glanced at the black shadow that was speeding towards me in the distance, the terrifying power that enveloped everyone and surpassed everything. It became more and more urgent. Should we keep fighting, or? Linlin looked at his brother. If he had no other choice, he could only flash back with the help of mirror gloves. Certainly. Before you leave, you have to fish out Dao fruit and Supreme Big Sharp Knife. A worthwhile trip. Great harvest. Little sister. Actually, there are many ways. And the most effective way to deal with him is that we deploy a similar shield first. That is, the field. Let them bear fruit. These words made Linlin not quite understand. Invalid. Why invalid? But at this moment, Asa, who had closed her eyes, opened them, and her pupils turned black and purple. The eyes are the windows to the heart. The heart is also the master of the mind. What he wants to release in his eyes is now very obvious. After you wake up, perhaps, it can be achieved. Asa's right hand is erected in front of her body, with her index finger wrapped around her upper middle finger. In an instant, John's body, which was scorched black and burning, turned into a purple mist. Prometheus stopped absorbing it and flashed to him. Gathering fingertips, the field expands. Asa magnetic sound falls. The massive fluctuations released in the pupil brushed the purple mist on the fingertips. Suddenly enlarged. Boundless space. Ding. The chime sounded. Tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of memories turned into threads, with Asa as the center, running through the three of Kurozumi Semimaru. Not only are they, Newgate, Shiki, and all the surviving pirates within the range are also shrouded in memory threads. At this time, behind them, a giant purple-black pupil emerges, like the eyes of gluttony. When viewed directly, it brings infinite greed and terror to people. As it flows, dark purple covers most of the space. All creatures are unable to move, trapped in a stagnant mass of memory turbulence. Can't see anything. Single quote. Feel nothing. Couldn't even start thinking, beyond loads of confusion. Quote. This is everyone's last thought. This is, Field. The trio, including Kurozumi Higurashi, relax as the brain begins to shut down. After losing physical support, the barrier ability, the ability is naturally disconnected, and the outside world also slammed, and the barrier turned into pieces. On the other hand, the other two. Akoku was unresponsive, unable to teleport. Balorik Redfield, even if he is top-notch, his mental strength is beyond ordinary people. It's just that the eyes moved. Can't do anything else. Snapped. At the same time, the tops of Akoku and Kurozumi Semimaru's heads were patted by a pair of hands. Immediately, they were tightly gripped. It was Asa who appeared behind them. It's coming in an instant. Here, he is like a god. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.